change channel, Bruce, so you can hear us.
You're watching Racing-Leagues.com with Steve O'Connor and Troy Allen.
Good morning, good evening, wherever you are in the world, and welcome to Racing-Leagues.com's live coverage of round 6 of the V8 Supercars Championship from the Circuit Gilles Villeneuve in Montreal. And alongside me, as always, my co-host Troy Allen. Good evening, Troy. How are you doing?
Yeah, good evening, Steve. Long little bit of a break here, and Montreal, one of my probably all-time favourite tracks. Very fast, very flowing.
Absolutely, and a little bit of a different track for the V8s this season. Again, we've been to a few new tracks, not what you would call happy hunting ground as normal for a V8 supercar, but lots of long straights, a couple of tight hairpin corners, and a tricky chicane type bit around the back under the bridge. Should lead to plenty of opportunities for overtaking, especially into the turn 11 hairpin, and potentially into 14 and the infamous wall of champions on the outside. So anybody's got to be a little bit careful through there as well. So something to look forward to. Just cover off the race format for today. So we've got 2 races. First of all, we're into the top 10 shootout at the moment, where the top 10 drivers from qualifying 1 get to go out for 1 lap and set the top 10 on the grid. So on to race 1 then, a 22 lap race on the hard tyre only, followed by a 48 lap race 2 on the soft tyre only. So at Troy, it's going to be a bit of a experience for the drivers, to say the least, with the shorter race having the better durability tyre and the longer race having the less durability tyre, which is obviously going to lead to some interesting strategy calls, shall we say?
Oh, look, definitely, it really is. I mean, we saw, I think it was Eastern Creek that we saw that similar format, which is quite interesting when you look at the style of track that Eastern Creek is and Montreal. They're very, very similar in the fact that they are both very flowing and very fast. So I think it's going to be interesting to watch. And with some times that I've done this week, it's that soft tyre. You're going to burn it up very quick if you want to work it.
Yes, so we actually did a little bit of... apologies, we're just getting the Twitch feed set up. Well, we were. Ignore that.
02, yep.
So we did a little bit of testing at SRT during the week on this track, and one thing we noticed in particular is the opportunity to cut the corners. There's not very much restriction on that, so it's something the stewards are going to have to work hard to keep everybody 4 wheels on the track throughout the lap.
Oh, exactly right, Steve. I mean, because you've got 4 tight chicanes through here that there's a lot of time to be made up. You've got to take a certain amount of curb without being too greedy.
Yes, so you've got to find just that right balance between speed and staying within the regulations. And the regulations are pretty clear on this as well. It does say 2 wheels must be in contact with the tarmac at all times, so anybody who wants to take the 4 across will find themselves in the steward's room.
I wouldn't say the stewards' room. I think they'll find themselves at the back of the grid or driving through the pit lane.
Yes, quite a short pit lane here as well, Troy. So that's something to factor into the strategy as well. I mean, you come off the brakes at the end of the long straight, and you're pretty much into the pits and on the speed limiter. And then on the exit, it's just the length of the garages, and then you back up to speed again. And in fact, you cut out most of that turn one, two sort of complex, so you actually can get a pretty good speed into the next corner. So we need to watch for the overlap on people exiting the pits and the other cars on a lap as well. So could see some action in and around there as well.
Yeah, it's a dicey one too, because what you got to remember is you're going to be coming out of the pit lane on cold tyres. You're going to be carrying more speed into that second chicane section on the lap, so you could actually outbrake yourself and cause yourself a bit of drama as well.
Okay, let's just check with the stewards and see which session we're in. Bruce from Steve in the comms, you got me?
Hi, Steve.
Good morning, Bruce. Which are we into the top 10 shootout yet?
We are that. If I remember correctly, Darren Goosey should be just about finishing his last lap just now. And Dan Stevens is the next one on track behind him.
So we've got Darren Goosey on his lap right now, followed by Colin Bruns, I see out there.
And Colin's in front of him. Dan's the car that's following close behind.
No, it's
Now,
Dan
Colin
Stevens,
currently
Steve.
is second on the grid.
Okay, lovely. So we've had Ian Hannon and Colin Bruns already put their lap together. So apologies we missed that one. Let's see if we can get some lap times up for everybody. So there we are. We have Ian Hannon currently on pole position with a 1:35.985. Colin Bruns second. Darren Goosey in third. And we should have our reigning V8 Supercars champion Dan Stevens on track now, beginning his lap. So he's into turn one, turn two, and you can just see the pit exit there on the left. And then along to this tricky little chicane here, which sort of gives you some sort of false assumptions on the way, in that you can carry more speed.
Oh, he's locked the rears. He's pushed him wide.
But he's kept it together. All four wheels are on the track through there. And as I was saying, it is a very tricky corner, especially in the V8. So Dan's leaving nothing to chance here.
Massive
He's
lock.
locking up on most of the corners at the moment. So he's having one of these qualifying sessions again that we've seen all year, apart from the Pukekohe one off. Obviously, he just doesn't seem to unlock the speed on the one lap.
No, he's definitely lacking that one lap pace. I think Dan's very much a rhythm style of driver, where he needs to find that rhythm and get the car flowing to be happy. He's not someone that can sort of, like your Darth Tender, that can just turn it on in one lap.
Okay, so we're into the hairpin now. That massive long straight to go as well, which is really going to test these engines throughout as well. Temperatures, tire wear and everything as well. So the setup as well, they're going to have to be careful what they do with the camber with a straight this length as well. So to get that extra grip in the corners, they're going to have to be very careful that they don't put too much camber on it, should we say, and run the tires off down this straight.
That's exactly right, Stephen. See, running testing here as well with DSA, there's obviously three ratios to choose from. You've got your 3.5s, your 3.4s, or your 3.2s. Now, your 3.4s are just that little bit too short. You're going to bounce off the limiter for about 100 metres. The 3.5s are way too short. You're unlimited for about probably 300 metres. And the 3.2s, you don't quite get to the limiter. You'll start getting around that 7,000 mark. So it'll be interesting to see what ratio these guys go with.
Yeah, definitely. It's balancing it out to get enough power out of the corners as well. So you go too long in the ratios, you're going to be a sitting duck on the exit of the corners if you're not careful.
Exactly right, Steve. And I think, look, ideally, I think the 3.2s are probably going to be the ratio to use, because if you get yourself in that slipstream, you've got that little bit extra, a little bit further down the straight before you got to jump on the brakes.
Okay, so on that previous lap, Dan Stevens went 1.84 seconds faster than Ian Hannon to pop himself up into first positions. We've got Gavin Cox in the number 5 DeWalt Volvo on track right now. He is on his lap, I believe.
One thing I did notice about Dan's lap there, Steve, while watching it, was the rear end looked very, very loose. He was struggling for rear end grip, I think.
Yes,
Very
it
similar with the
looks
Volvo.
Volvo's got a little bit more grip from the looks of it at the rear there. It's not stepping out as much. Race winner from the final race in Pukekohe last weekend as well, so it remains to be seen if 555 have got their mojo back or if they're going to struggle as well. Although this track is similar in some respects to parts of Pukekohe, so you'd expect them to go well here.
A little bit wide there. I think the fourth wheel might have just left the tarmac.
Yeah, I think he's all right there. He just kept that wall of champions in his back of his mind and 0.205 seconds slower than Dan Stevens on that lap, so not able to pop himself up ahead of him. So we've got Stuart Poitier, the driver that's currently occupying second position in the points in the 3 Plus Fitness Holden, just starting his lap now into turn 1.
And he's pushed it wide.
Caught it nicely though, Troy there. He just let it actually run out.
That second part of the chicane there, Steve, is very tricky. It sort of encourages you to get on the power, but if you get on it too soon, the rear end will step on you as well. It's such a dicey one, that one.
Does look like he's dicing with a loose rear end on this car as well, from what I can see so far.
Could this be a Commodore trait?
I was just actually thinking that as well, or maybe it's just something they've done in the setups, and it's not able to warm its tyres up within the one lap, so let's see how he gets on. It does look a lot more stable than the number 1 car did.
Yeah, shaking its head a little bit there under brakes into the second group of chicanes there.
I do love the driving style of this guy, it's just so precise.
Oh, he really does put it on the mark.
Definitely. Oh, he's ran a lot wide through the apex there. He caught the apex a little bit too early and ended up pushing himself understeering to the outside, so that's going to cost him down this straight, Troy.
I think, yeah, not being able to get on the power hard early is going to cost him a couple of kilometres down the straight. Looking at his speed.
8/10 of a second faster in Sector 2 than the previous fastest lap, so he should be able to pop himself up into first, I would imagine. He wouldn't have
And it
lost
looked like the car was wobbling there.
Let's see where he pops up. Second
34
position.
9.
That last sector actually cost him quite a bit, 37.6 in there, so yes, as we suspected. Next on track should be Wayne Durr from DSA's into turn 1, hooked the curb nicely, curb on turn 2 as well. The rear end lit up a little bit on the exit there as well, another Commodore.
Common problem for the Commodore.
Could be, very nice line through there from Wayne. This one looks a lot more stable than the other Commodores did. So, oh, and there we have commentator's curse. Lights up the rear end. And again.
That's another one of those chicanes that it's enticing you to get on that power, but if you get on it too aggressively, it's going to light the rears. I personally like to short shift in the third to try and get the power down early.
Tell you what, Troy, if this is any indication for race 2, it's going to be an absolute nightmare for people to try and get through with the soft tyre, because they'll all be qualifying on the soft.
Yeah, exactly right, Steve. I'm thinking that it's a two-stop race.
At least.
I mean, look at that change there to second gear. You can see there's probably a good 10 metre or maybe 5 metre licorice marks there that Wayne Dare's left behind and the change to second.
Absolutely. So here we come into the final chicane now. Just hook a right here. You've got to be very careful you don't hit that curb too hard on the inside or on the way in, or it really upsets the car through the rest of the corner and you'll be in the wall of champions if you're not careful.
Well, if you're at DSA, we've all seen how well our cars soak up the curb. And we've got the setup mastered for soaking up curb.
Oh, we've just cut over to Dave Kinnaman starting his lap, and he completely busted his way through the final chicane there. He was completely off the road, so let's see if that has any effect on the start of this lap. Locking up on the way in as well. I think that trip through the end chicane there has upset that car a little bit for Dave.
Yeah, it looks so.
A little bit of a tire smoke through there as well. Doesn't look as fast through this section as some of the other cars have so far.
Oh, massive understeer. Oh, this car is not happy, Steve. Look at it. It's all over the place. I think he's lost his front splitter through that incident.
Let's get a look. I think you might be right, Troy. That's going to be yes, he has. That's going to be an absolute nightmare when he hits that hairpin.
That car is going nowhere but to 10th position.
I would imagine so. He's got to
Massively understeering.
Yeah, he's got to keep it off the walls. There's still an opportunity for the final car to make a mistake and maybe get a position. So just got to be careful with this end.
Are you saying that Brett Clark can make a mistake?
A very, very rare occurrence, but I'll never say never. Yeah, front splitter completely gone. Really going to suffer through this final section again, and with the splitter, he was suffering through it on the warm-up lap. So let's see what he can do with this now.
Massive lock up, and he's rolled. Oh, he's gone.
Yeah, that was always going to happen. Yeah, Troy, I think that was on the cards from the moment that splitter went.
Oh, look, you can see the steam coming out the windows in that car. He is absolutely filthy with himself.
4.89 seconds off the pace, and here we have the Caltex SRT Volvo three-time V8 Supercars champion Brett Clark about to start his lap, current championship leader by almost a race weekend for when I looked at it earlier. That car looks very unstable through there. Some weird bounce going on. So let's see what Brett has with the rest of this lap. So he's got good speed through there, carried plenty of speed, and 2 tires on the track at all times through there as well. A little bit of a rear light up there as well, Troy, but this Volvo looks the most stable we've seen out of most of the cars so far.
Except for then, it just got a real bit of tail wag coming out of that second chicane section there.
If you look at the front of it, it's bouncing differently to the rest of the cars as well, which tells me he's done something funky with the setup.
Look, Brett's setups are funky. We all know that we can't drive with them,
Yes.
only he can.
And into the hairpin, that's a very nice entry through there. Look at that, Troy, right across the curb.
Yeah, left some licorice on the way out.
Yeah, I don't think he's too bothered. He's up significantly at this point, so let's see how we go down the final straight. Just the wall of champions, and hopefully it doesn't claim another champion.
Well, he's still got his front splitter on, a little bit tail wag there, but he's managed to get it powered to the ground. Off he goes.
Sorted it out with an extra boot of throttle for the looks of it as well. So there we go. First position for Brett Clark, 0.742. I tell you what, that lap of Dan Stevens was pretty damn good actually when you look at it. He's popped himself up into second, and all the time I was talking him down through a qualifying that he just looked like he hadn't got it unlocked. But hey, there we go.
Yeah, no, it definitely was obviously a cracking lap, but obviously it's Brett Clark once again.
Absolutely, and how many times are we going to say that this season? So let's see if we can grab the top three down for the quick interview. So welcome top three to the interview room afterwards. Brett Clark, congratulations, pole position. Dan Stevens, second position. And Stuart Poitier in third. Stuart, we'll just come to you first. First half of that lap looked pretty handy, apart from a little bit of a lock-up into turn one. But pretty much lost a bunch of time right at the hairpin. Would that be fair?
Yeah, I completely missed my braking mark at that hairpin, Steve.
Yeah, it looked like it just understeered out on you, but not a bad lap. Having said that, get yourself into third, so you're within a second of pole position. What's your thoughts for the race?
I really haven't tried the hard tyres around here, so I'll just have to see how we go for the first 10 laps, I suppose.
No worries, and consolidating that second place in the championship and trying to move up, I would assume.
Yeah, I'm trying to, but I think Brett's got the pace here.
No worries, thanks, Stuart. Dan, we come to you next. I think I did you a bit of a disservice in the commentary as well. We were watching your lap, and you were one of the first ones out that we caught. and it just looked like the lap wasn't hooked up, but the time was there at the end. So talk us through it.
Pretty much, mate. I pretty much screwed up that first chicane, and I was pretty much sideways through there, and I thought it's going to be all over. So I just hit down and went for it, and just pulled out a bloody good one by the looks of it. Yeah, and I was actually quite rapt to be on the front row.
Yeah, well done, Dan. One thing we didn't make notice of in most of the Holdens, it looked like that rear end appears to be lighting up a bit easier than some of the Volvos, for instance.
Nah, mine's pretty planted once she's warmed up, eh?
Yeah, so it's just getting those first couple of laps in, and I suppose with the top 10, you don't get the chance to get the proper heat into them.
Yeah, it takes about 3 laps with the setup that I've got, but it's going to be a good one.
Excellent. And Brett, another pole position. Looked like a clean and calm and collected lap.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, just kind of. I saw that Dave had gone off, so or I don't know if he'd gone off, but I saw he'd put in a scruffy lap, and I remembered what Dan's lap time was, so it was just a case of trying to make sure I beat that. So I didn't push too hard.
Yeah, Dave touched one of the walls early on in the lap and took the splitter off, and then obviously almost rolled it, or did roll it on the final chicane. So, yeah,
Right.
well done, and congratulations. What's your thoughts for the race?
Well, fortunately, I don't think there's no way as anyone's non-stopping today. So, fortunately, I can put the fuel in, put the hards on, and push hard. Should be fun.
Excellent. We look forward to speaking to you all later. Thanks, guys.
Cheers, Steve.
Cheers, mate.
So there we have it. Top 3 that are pretty happy with their work, and so they should be. So just before we get to the race, we've got a couple of rumours around the pit lane. I believe one of them involves Team DSA. So who better to speak to than the Team DSA owner, Troy Allen? Troy, what can you tell us?
Yeah, there's been a bit of talk around. Talk that we've heard was that Wayne Dare was looking at starting his own team next year, which we can confirm that yes, Wayne will be leaving the garage. He's admitted that it hasn't been one of his best years, but as one door closes, another door opens, which opens up the 005 car, formerly known as, to Stuart Portier, who we have signed now to come on board with us for the Enduros, to drive with Kai, and will be taking up a full-time seat next year.
Well, there you have it. You heard it here first. That was unexpected. I do know that several teams were taking a look at Stuart. Well done, congratulations, Troy, on getting that sewn up, and it would be great to have another team on the track as well with Wayne. So it's been just one of them years for Wayne, hasn't it? He was signed for the Enduros for DSA last year, did a phenomenal job and was running right up there with the pace of them, but there was a little bit of a change to the car in the off-season, and I think that just hasn't suited him as much as possible. So, well, congratulations to both of you.
Yeah, look, we're sad to see Wayne go. His experience in the pit lane with his strategies and whatnot is going to be missed. He's been a really good sounding board for myself and Kai, and look, we can't speak highly enough of his knowledge and his ability. But as we say, bringing Stuart on board, he's excited to drive with Kai. I've had chats with him. He says Kai's style's on just a different level, and he's really, really keen and really looking forward to driving with Kai. So look, I think we're only going to see the best from both Stuart and Kai, because competition breeds excellence, I believe.
Absolutely, but then you're going to find yourself in the position that I found myself in many times, is when they're both running right out front and disappearing off into the distance. What's your plan when they start bumping and banging?
Well, basically they can race each other, but don't take each other out. Like, I understand we all want to win and everything like that, but if you're gonna be a desperado, then it's not worth it. I mean, think of the team at the end of the day. You might get him in another couple of laps, or at another track you might be quicker. So let's just play it fair. I think as long as these two realise that I'm not paying any favourites to anyone, it's just a case of race clean and hard.
Well, good luck with that. I must say a really big congratulations to yourself, because you built that team from nothing, and they're definitely going to be one of the main challengers next year, without a doubt.
No, thank you, Steve. I appreciate that a lot. It means a lot coming from you, knowing the stature that you've built there with SRT. And I mean, we're only a young team. We've only been around for 2 years or 2 seasons, and in our first season to take the team's title was just a massive, massive coup for us. And this year hasn't gone as well as planned, with a few DNFs, and obviously with Wayno not being as quick or consistent on track as he could be, sort of left us a little bit down in the dumps at times. But look, with Stuart coming on board next year, we can only look for bigger and better things.
Excellent. So, as one team's fortunes are on the up, another team's fortunes are on the down. So, ASR, let's see if we can get it from the team boss at ASR. Let's see if we can get Bruce. Bruce, Stephen Combs.
Roger, Steve.
Hi, Bruce. Just apart from your steering duties, you're obviously the team owner of ASR. Obviously, there's been some changes between rounds there, so can you fill us in?
At this point in time, we're still in the process of figuring out things just now.
So is it confirmed that Colin Bruns has actually left ASR?
Nothing's confirmed as yet.
Okay, and what about Mr. Pengelly and the 222?
Again, there's nothing confirmed there either.
You should definitely run for politics, Bet.
There's a no comment situation at the moment.
Okay, fair enough. So back to your full-time job this morning. Qualifying session over. Anything in particular that you were to look at for that? Any changes in the order, or was everybody pretty clean?
Yeah, everyone did seem to be pretty clean. There was a couple of close-ish calls. It was very, very borderline, but everyone did seem to be playing ball.
Okay, so moving on to the races, obviously, we are well aware of this track that you can pretty much chop every corner if you so wished, and the regulations do stipulate 2 tires on the black stuff at all times. If we give you a scenario that somebody has gone into a corner too quick and runs all 4 wheels off, is that something that would come to your attention, or is that something that you would let go?
It would be looked at, and it would be try to be determined to see if they'd gained an advantage by going all 4 wheels off the track. If they had actually lost time because of that, then they've incurred their own penalty. But if they do gain time, then no, that would be definitely looked at.
Okay, so there's 2 real places for overtaking, well, possibly 3. So we're talking about the hairpin at the end of the straight. Very similar to the Pukekohe end of the straight, and we did have an issue there with the 222 car and the 5 car. What's the order of the day for that? Fair game, or do they have to be so far alongside?
That incident in Pukekohe, there's a lot of factors you've got to take into account that that would be different compared to a real racing situation, visibility, things like that. That one, that Pukekohe round, that was classed as a racing incident.
Okay, so and into turn 1 as well. I'm sure we're going to see a bit of bumping and banging, especially off the start as well. There are 2 clear lines through there as well, so obviously anybody chopping across the front of cars and stuff will probably come to your attention. Would that be fair?
That's correct, yeah. Especially at the start, the drivers should be aware that there will be cars around them. They're not on their own like they are, like 50% into the race. There's going to be people there that are braking later, braking earlier, taking, as you say, a different line in. And the onus really should be on the drivers. I mean, yeah, you see accidents at the beginning of races, but the drivers know there are other vehicles around them. So they should be paying attention to that.
Absolutely. Thanks for your comments as always, Bruce, and hopefully we'll catch up with you again later.
No problem.
So pretty straightforward, Troy. Drive off the track and get an advantage. You're coming in. Chop someone up and you're popping in again.
Yeah, look, it's one of those tracks that there is a lot of runoff at certain sections where you are going to come back into the line of traffic, so you've definitely got to be careful with that safe re-entry. But I did hear that you didn't make a mention of that move that I strongly criticised last round at Pukekohe, where it did seem like Gavin Cox did dive bomb on the 222 Pengelly car.
Yes, we did discuss it. That was the incident with 222 and 5 at the end of the long straight there. Yeah, Bruce has classified it as a racing incident. So, yeah, I suppose they're free to race again.
Yeah, look, that's definitely interesting. Live, it did definitely look like a dive bomb. I mean, I'll apologise there if anyone thought I was a bit harsh. That was my view. As we know, we only get one chance to really look at it live and make a call on that pass there.
I think it's, as always, Troy, it's our opportunity to go and open our mouth. That's what we're here for. You call it like you say it at the time. Stewards obviously have a ton of more information that they're able to look at after the race, whereas we get the 2 seconds to make a call and get on with it. So from my perspective on that one as well, it looked like an absolute late dive bomb. But when we seen it in the replays and all of the stewards' information afterwards, there was a lot more to it than just that as well. So it's also one of the things that was brought up as well is the history of a move, if you like. So in that particular one, for 2 laps previous as well, the 5 car was attempting the same move and was showing its intention nice and early as well. He wasn't as far alongside on the previous 2 laps, but it was something interesting that was taken into account by the stewards that you must have known it was coming. So both drivers have to play a ball in sim racing to be able to pass.
I think you're exactly right. That you've hit the nail on the head there, Steve. Also, what I noticed is I was privy to a lot of the conversation there with the stewards, and I had a look at one of the still frames that was help key in the decision making there. You can clearly see that the Cox car was clearly up at the B pillar. Now, in real supercar racing, the B pillar is the determination of whether a pass is on or it's a genuine just you are dreaming sunshine. So because Cox had got the car up to the B pillar, I do feel that the pass was on. Seeing that there in still frame makes it quite clear.
Definitely. So just on another note as well, we are still missing Bert van Jaarsveld in the second of the SRT cars as well. So I believe it's my understanding that he's a premium member. He's going to be running for double points for one of the races and average points for the second race he's missed as well. So he should pop back up in the points, but that does leave SRT a little bit exposed at the moment at the top of the team's table.
Well, not really, Steve, because unfortunately we don't have Kaitona here at the moment either.
That's a little bit of luck there for both, but both of them will be going to get average points for that one miss as well. So, be interesting to see. But let's talk about Mr. Number One himself in the 69 car. He's really playing with these people at the moment, isn't he?
Look, is there any kind of way to say it? I mean, realistically, you can see that Brett's just a whole step above the rest.
I'll tell you what amazes me with him is when you think he's hit his limit and you get more competitive drivers in every season, you think, yeah, this is going to be a tough one. It's going to be a tough one. But he makes us look like fools every time because he just finds another level, ups it to that one, and then just maintains a gap every time.
You're exactly right there, Steve. I mean, we thought with the likes of Kaitona coming into this championship this year, it was really going to shake Brett up. But look, in saying that, it hasn't been a great season for Kai as well. So I guess you could take 2 looks at it. One, that Kai wasn't at one of his best or at his strongest this season, and Brett stepped it up another level. I think it's a combination of both. Look, he's a terrific driver, and the ability to get the car to last as long as it does in a stint is something on a whole nother level.
It definitely amazes me that I tell you, the only driver to ever let's not say frighten him, but ever put him under pressure, Rob Herbert, who's unfortunately not running with us this season. It would have been interesting to see if he was able to lift his level above Rob again, or if they'd have been going wheel to wheel with every race.
And look, it would have been interesting and too. And again, we can also throw the name of Kai Turner in there. He also rattled Rob's cage at one stage as well, and shook the Canaries a little bit. But the only other person I think that comes close to Brett in conservation and tyre and fuel management in a stint is our new signing, Stuart Portier. He's been one that's been pretty much on the same pace with Brett and the same strategies. So that could be something interesting to look at when he comes over to DSA next season.
Definitely, I'm loving the watching the evolution of Stuart's career. He's hit the ground running, and he's so consistent as well. You watch him on a lap as well. He hits that same pace of track, lap after lap after lap as well. So it's one of those things you can't teach.
No, it's definitely not something you can teach. It's something you can watch, you can learn, and you can try and mimic. But as opposed to teaching it, it's something that you can't just put into words. It's just something that someone's just got to copy, I guess.
Definitely, and that's all the hallmarks of an awesome endurance driver as well. So with the Enduros coming up and I'm moving over to DSA for that as well, it's going to be interesting to see how you guys do. You couldn't have two more diverse driving styles between Kai Turner and Stuart Poitier as well. So putting them in the same car, that could, if that ever happens, could be an interesting output.
I call it the yin yang effect.
It definitely is, but yeah, it's good to see it. It's great to see that evolution in sim racing as well. That these people actually have their own driving style, and no two drivers are the same.
Oh no, it's exactly right. It's not like your arcade games where everyone just sort of like your Daytona, where you come into that final turn, you snap it back 2 gears, slide the car through, and that's how everyone does it. Whereas in sim racing, everyone likes their car different. Some of them like the arse to be a little bit loose. Some of them like the front to be a little bit vague. So it's really great to see.
Yeah, and I've just noticed something there, just as Dan Stevens leaves the pits on the drive to the grid as well. There's a clear line as well for pit exit. And I'm pretty sure Mr. Duncan will be watching anybody chopping across that as well, because that's there for purely safety, to ensure that if there's a car on the inside, that the driver exit the pits doesn't cross the nose of it and cause a pile-up. So interesting to see Dan chopping that on the way out there.
Yeah, that's actually something that's quite interesting. We actually, for those of you that aren't aware out there, had our first test of iRacing last weekend, and they're actually on the money there. Where if you cross that line, you get a drive-through. So that's one thing that's different between iRacing and R Factor, that made a lot more of the guys aware of that pit line. Whereas in R Factor, I don't think anyone really knows where it is.
Exactly, yeah, and a lot of these tracks obviously are built by modders as well, and some of them, some of the pit exits are a little bit different. Think Phillip Island, for example, as well, where you blend straight into the racing line, which is the last thing anyone wants. But here it's quite clear. Stay to the left, car on a lap stays to the right. Both cars survive.
Yeah, exactly right. Now, the interesting thing that I didn't get to before about the pit exit here is because you're coming out, you can virtually almost straight line that corner. You get a lot of extra speed coming out of there because you're on a straight line virtually. So it's going to be interesting to watch the exit as to someone thinks, oh, I can have a go here. I've got that extra speed. But they've also got to remember that they're on cold tyres. So
absolutely
could be troublesome.
Absolutely, if you go steaming out of there and you haven't actually hit the brakes at any stage once you've left the pits until you're into that right-left chicane as well, you could find the rear heading towards that wall pretty quick.
There's that as well, because there's 4 decent chicane sections here that you've got to take a lot of the curb to get speed. Now, obviously, it's the turn 1, or actually, it's probably classified as turn 2, because the main straight isn't actually a complete straight. It's got a kink in it, very much like Gold Coast. So you're coming to sort of what I will call turn 2, 3 chicane there, where the pit exit is. Then you've got the 4 and 5 section, the 6 and 7 section, and then the 8 and 9 section. Those chicanes are crucial, and you need a lot of curb. You need a car that's going to be happy taking curb.
Absolutely, and as usual, the last 2 cars heading to the grid, I believe, are Brett Clark and Gavin Cox this time as well. And there is an advantage, as we've noted several times, and in fact there's been a rule put in place to make sure that everybody actually drives into their grid place. But there's a significant advantage to be the last onto your grid slot because you have the warmest tires, the warmest brakes, whereas everybody else is sitting there cooling down right now. You've got a chance to get them as close to temperature as you need for that first corner.
Not just that, Steve, it's the amount of fuel you save, because all these guys, if they haven't mapped an ignition button, they're sitting there with their engines idling, burning up that fuel. That could be the difference between of about 2 to 3 litres, which we saw at not Pukekohe, the round before that. I can't even remember what that was. Brett Clark, Highlands, that's right, yeah. Brett Clark had actually managed to save a litre. We're ready to go.
Look at that, he's parked it on the nose and we're ready to go.
Yes, no, we've had a car
Steve
missing,
Thomas.
Steve. We actually noticed there. I noticed
Yes,
last
go
second
ahead, Bruce.
that
We've had to do a minor restart due to drivers being dropped off the grid.
Nice. Awesome.
Yes.
This makes our job so easy, Troy.
I didn't catch that conversation from Bruce, but I'm
Bruce
guessing. Steve, wait. Let me guess. R-Factor 2 had a lag.
You could say that it kicked a few drivers, so let's.
Yeah, R-Factor 2. Awesome.
I think it was Dan Stevens actually from second position on the grid who got the boot. So they've got to do it all over again. So as we got ready for this one, let's take a bet and see how many times it takes to get this race started. I'm going for at least one more, Troy.
Will we be away next time, or will next time be another false start and then away?
I think we'll not get away on the next one.
I think we might be okay. We might be okay next time around.
Okay. I'm going to take that opportunity for a quick toilet break, so back with you in a second. And we're back to it, and obviously it's all gone a bit wrong, Troy, would that be fair?
A bit wrong, or
Well, I appear
gone
to
to
have 5
that
drivers.
creek without a paddle?
Bruce from Steve.
Steve.
What's happened now?
They're just coming back in just now because everything was going all messed up.
Oh, that's beautiful.
Yes, our factors being absolutely awesome today.
Not really our
Racing
day,
Test.
Troy. YouTube refused to allow us to broadcast, so we had to move to Twitch. Now we can't get the race. So I believe it must start next time for me to win that bet.
Damn. We actually no, we have not attempted to start the
you're
race
right.
yet.
You're right. So I'm allowed. If it goes wrong this time as well, then I win.
Yes. If we actually get to the starting grid, we get to the formation
Yeah.
lap, and everyone starts rolling out, then we go back to warm up. Yes, then you win.
Okay, right. We'll keep an eye on this.
The tension is on. Now, just in that little siesta we had there, Steve, I had a quick chance to.
Hang on, just while we're doing that, if everybody just gonna try and add our Twitch chat to it. So just give us a second while you see something stupid appear up on your grid. There we have it. We have got our Twitch chat app up. So anybody wants to say anything, we'll certainly have it up there for you. Well, this is exciting.
No, it's not. Really not.
I know.
But yeah, during that little siesta there, Steve, I took a quick run downstairs to Stuart Portier's garage just to sort of let him know that we've let the cat out of the bag, and he can tell whoever he wants now that he's a proud member of Team DSA, and he's quietly confident. He's pretty focused.
Oh, that's good stuff then. I suppose while we're at it, let's go and annoy some of the drivers. So see if we can get the word from 555 Racing. So while we're just waiting on this delay, we've got both 555 team members, team owner Gavin Cox and Dave Kinnaman in the comms box with us. Good evening, guys. How's it all going today?
Definitely could be a bit better on my front, Steve. I had pace for second or third there, and unfortunately I put it on the wall coming out of the pits on my warm-up lap, so I had no splitter. So that's why my top 10 shootout lap looks so ridiculously scruffy.
Yeah, we caught the final part of your warm-up lap as well. We went across the final chicane as well. So got plenty of speed this weekend again, guys. So looking good for the race, I would have thought.
Yeah, I hope so, Steve. Got the tyres by sorted out pretty well, and the car's pretty comfortable and on the pace. So looking for some good results, I think.
Excellent. Obviously, with Bert being out for these 2 rounds, he's got to get his average points and stuff. But in the short term, 555 Racing are now top of the team's championship. You must be happy with that.
Yeah, very happy, and at the same time a little nervous. Just putting extra pressure on us to perform.
Well, when you mention pressure, Gavin, I don't think that really bothers you that much, because running for double points, you go and take out your first win of the season, which equals 2 wins worth of points. So well done on that.
Yeah, thanks, Steve.
No worries, guys. We'll let you get back to it, and good luck for the race.
Cheers, Steve.
Cheers, mate.
Okay, so who else can we have a chat with? Let's see if we can get Ian down. Good evening, Ian. While we're waiting for this all to start, we just brought you down to the comms for a minute.
Hello, Steve.
Decent position there in qualifying. You're in 6th position overall, I believe. In fact, you were top of the top 10 shootout for quite a few laps as well. So unlocking a bit of pace again, I see.
Well, yeah, that was my first low fuel run, so just a couple of laps, and there were a couple of minor mistakes, but I managed to pull it together and get a personal best out there.
Yeah, well done.
Surprised myself, I think, more than anyone else.
If I put it to you that this being a European style track probably more suits your natural driving style. Would that be fair?
Well, I don't know. It seems that way, doesn't it?
Well, it does. It seems when we go anywhere near any not twisty Aussie New Zealand tracks, you seem to do fine.
Yeah, weirdly, I prefer them tracks. I'm not a big fan of this, nor any sort of Formula One track, but I seem to do better on them. I don't know what it is.
Well, I think when the next season's calendar's been posted up, you should get stuck in and find as many tracks you don't like and see if we can get them in for you.
Yeah.
All right, mate. Good luck in the race.
Cheers, mate.
So let's see if we can get. I know the team manager wouldn't tell us anything, but let's see if we can get Colin Bruns down and see what's going on.
It's going to be interesting.
Good evening, Colin. Steve at the comms, just while we're waiting on this race to get started, we just thought we'd have a quick chat with yourself and see how your race is going, etc.
G'day, mate. How you going?
Not too bad. How's everything looking from your end?
Not too bad. My practice times are certainly better than what I'm getting now, but no, good man. Just cruising along.
Okay, we see that you're driving a different car this weekend. Anything to say on that?
Not at this stage. Just to be continued. That's all I can say at the
I
moment.
swear to God, between you and ASR team owner as well, I can't get any information. You both should be in politics.
Can I say something, Steve?
Go on ahead, Troy, if you have to.
Look, Mr. Burns, please. You and Smithers have been great teammates all the season. Oh, hang on, are we about to lose connection here? I've let my cat out of the bag. Why can't you? Are you going to be driving for ASR or not next year?
Honestly, mate, I don't know what's happening at the moment. We'll just have to wait and see.
Okay, we've got
Get
10,
the
we've got 10
splitters out of your
seconds,
ass.
Troy. We'll have to let him go. All right, Colin, good luck.
Cheers.
Right, so just getting ready for the race. So here we go. The countdown is about to begin. Here we go. And Brett Clark makes a pretty good start there on the inside as well. Let's see what happens. And he's already clear of the number one car. Gavin Cox trying to round up Stuart Poitier. Got the inside for the next round as lap as well. Can't even talk, Troy. Carry on.
I'm affected crash, so I'm coming back in and I'm watching it delayed on the live stream.
So we've got the 255 cars. Kinnaman has made an awesome start. Is right up the back of his teammate as well. Clark's already a few car lengths clear as well as we look in the background. So we've got Clark from Stevens, from Poitier, from Cox, from Kinnaman, from Dare, from Bruns, from Hannon. Ian's lost 2 positions off the start there as well. Now we've got Stuart Poitier just lighting up the rear there as well. He's already looks like he's going to line Dan Stevens up for a pass very shortly as well. So he did make that mistake on his qualifying lap. So probably got a little bit more pace than Dan. And if Dan, as he said, is having a bit of problem warming those tyres up, he's going to be sitting ducked down into the hairpin. And here we go. Leading into it is Stevens. Poitier is a little bit too far back for this one. Now we've got the 555 twins holding station there behind. Wayne Dare is right on the back of the 55 car as well. So look good. Bruns has made a clean move up past Hannon as well. And down into the final chicane for the first time. Brett Clark leading from Dan Stevens. 1.3 seconds in the books already into the Wall of Champions now. We're both past him. Look how wide Clark went there. His wing mirror almost came off on that one. 1.6 seconds the gap now already to Stevens. Stuart Poitier 2.4 seconds further back as well. Not looking like he's actually been able to make a move. If anything, he's lost a bit of time over the last few corners. So as you were at the moment, I'm just popping back to the 5 and the 55 car. They're both running strongly together in 4th and 5th. Wayne Dare in 5th position. He's really starting to work over the back of the 55 car at this point. Colin Bruns is looking to buy into that as well. So a little bit of action happening further down the pack in for 5th position.
It's a bit of a freight train there. It's got a Volvo. Actually, you've got a Commodore with this Stuart Poitier. Volvo, Commodore, and Commodore.
Yeah, no Fords in this race that I can see.
Forgotten on race day, mate. Forgotten on race day.
Oh, and Dare looking to make a move. Bruns also looking to find a way through as well, but a little bit too late on. It's actually cost him on the exit a bit there, allowed him 55 to skip away down the straight. So he's
Not just that, it looks like the Ian Hannon car's been able to latch on a bit more on the back of the Mr. Burns car there.
Yeah, these two are well used to running together as well. Look at Hannon is actually looking to make a move on the inside, and is he? No, he tucks back in. Everybody using a lot of curb there. Just moving back up front again. Clark's on his own now, 2 seconds out in the lead, or he was just. He's lost a few tenths through that section there. Poitier 3.9 seconds back. So he's actually losing time to Dan Stevens now. And just while we're having that, we had Daryl Bennett off track, so we'll just get a replay of that. It looks like it's going to be into the final chicane as well, so well known for people having a few issues there, so let's just see how it goes. And he's coming into the final chicane now. Yeah, he's just locked up a little bit and had to take the inside of the curve there, so not so good for Daryl. He's having a bit of a horror race.
Definitely not. But one interesting thing is the Pepsi Mac paintwork on a Commodore. Really?
Yeah, a little bit unusual to see that. So Stevens is not letting Clark get away at this point. We're on lap 2 now, and he's keeping the gap at about 1.8. Looking at the sector times, 28.889 sector 1 for Clark, 28.821 for Stevens, 29.173 for Clark through sector 2, 29.331. So they're pretty much matching each other through those as well. And Poitier is losing quite a bit through the sectors, a tenth in the first sector, 3 tenths in the second sector. So he's starting to drift backwards a little bit. And if we look at Gavin Cox, is a few tenths up on him through this lap. So could come to the attention of the 5 car soon enough.
Very much could be. Now, if we go a little bit further down the field here, Steve, down the 9th, 10th and 11th, you'll actually see what I said about earlier on about Wayne Dare starting his own team. I'm pretty sure the newcomer here, Danny Duccio, is running the Outlaws team skin that looks like it will be the car for next year. And you've got Juice, Duccio and Goosey all within probably a second and a half of each other.
Yeah, we've just got them on screen now, so we've got the Red Bull car just in front of the Outlaws car as well. Outlaws car just lit up the rears a little bit through there as well, but there's a hell of a fight going on here for what is going to be 9th position at the moment, whereas everybody else is cleared out a little bit. So 2-second gap to Ian Hannon in front. Hannon is still staring at the back of Colin Bruns. I'll tell you what, it does look like more pace, and we've got to move on here. The Outlaws car's down the inside of the 97 there and into that corner and move. Not quite done. He locked the rears a little bit.
Oh.
Goosey went off in the background, I've just seen, yeah. So is it going to be return of serve going into the hairpin here from the 97 car? No,
he's had a look, but no, he's not close enough.
Too far back. So just moving up front again. So we've got situation normal. Brett Clark from Dan Stevens, but Stevens he's losing a few tenths, but not a lot. So be interested to see if these have to pit with a shake side.
Look, I think Brett made it quite clear that no one was going to be able to make it all the way to the end without doing a no-stopper. He made that quite clear in the post-qualifying interview there. So they are going to stop, and they are going back on fresh bits of juice and fresh bits of boots.
So they're on hard tyres. There are 4 laps into the race at the moment. 2-second gap to second position. So he's obviously banking on everybody having to pit as well. But do we know that actually is the case, or is that an assumption by the 69 car?
I think it was this. Look, you're looking at about 8 litres a lap. I think I worked the fuel burn out to be so. 80 litres for 10 laps. It's really not leaving you a lot left, is it?
So we've just obviously got our Macintosh TV, one of our usual viewers is just up there. So where is Kai Turner? So let you take that one, Troy.
Kai Turner is currently moving house. Piss poor timing of an English batsman, if you ask me personally. I think he could have maybe moved house next week.
555 are going for it, both of them. And the 55 is past number 5 in the hairpin as well. That actually looked like a little bit of teamwork through there as well. The 55 wasn't quite far enough along to actually make the move, but 5 stayed wide and let 55 through from the looks of it as well. So let's see what 55 can do now. It definitely had more pace in qualifying, but fantastic teamwork there between the two 555 racing teammates.
Got to be careful because seeing that Dave made the mistake in qualifying, he's already locked it up into that hairpin, so there's going to be a mark on that tyre as well. And watching that through the wall of champions there, he got it quite high. So it's going to be interesting. It's going to be one to watch.
Interesting in that the 5 car's fastest lap is a good 3/10 faster than 55 as well. So I wonder if that actually was a planned move or whether Gavin just seen the 55 a little bit late. We do know the professor has always got that brain of his about 5 corners ahead of everybody else, so maybe he just thought better of it and let him go, see what he can do.
Yeah, maybe. And look, Kinnaman has cleared out a bit there from Cox, so is he going to be able to chase him down?
Well, let's see. He's got a good 4 seconds to Stuart Poitier next up, so let's see if he's able to close that down. His fastest lap is a good bit slower than Stuart Poitier's fastest lap, so maybe someone needs to give Stuart a bit of a wake-up call. But I'll tell you what, this is bad news for SRT to see the 555 team running as well as this.
SRT and DSA, I mean, they're running high in the, they're running inside the top 5, so it's a big bag of points for them.
Absolutely. So after remains to be seen what happens when the 46 returns to track for the next round, see if we can make up those points, but it's going to give them a decent jump in the team's championship.
And look, with not many regular rounds left of this season, before we head into the Enduros, every point that you can accumulate doubling wise is going to be crucial.
Absolutely, and Brett Clark has made a mistake somewhere on lap 6 there, or lap 5. He did a 136.3, 136.1 for Dan Stevens. Fastest lap, interestingly, for Clark is a 135.8 versus 136.5 for Dan Stevens. And the fastest lap so far, 136.2 for Stuart Poitier. So I'm not convinced that this car is actually going to stop at this point in time. That lap time suggests that they're actually knows a 135 versus 136. I'll shut up now, Troy.
Look, it's going to be interesting. It's going to be real interesting. If they can get the numbers down to probably around about the 5 to 6 litre mark, I think is where you need to be to make it on fuel. And good luck to you.
But we're
thinking last round.
We're thinking 8 litres a lap on a normal pace lap, a normal speed lap.
Yeah, look, I worked it out to be about, myself personally was about 7.8, and when I do test with Kai, he's usually about 0.2 to 0.4 of a litre more than me because he's obviously that little bit quicker.
Yeah, so I don't think that's savable, to be honest.
We said that too at Highlands, but we were proven wrong.
We were, but I think 2 litres a lap almost is. Oh, and Stevens just lights up the rears there. You've got to be careful of that. But yes, it's definitely a challenge, and I doubt anyone's going to meet that challenge. They're saying 2 litres per lap while running at a certain pace. You'd have to be running somewhere down the back to be able to do that, I would have thought.
Well, we did say that too at Pukekohe. Yes, Pukekohe too.
We did. We hadn't even entertained the fact that anybody would do what they did strategy-wise and run the whole race without stopping. So, yeah, we're caught with our pants down, to say the least. So let's do through the field, Troy. So in first position, championship leader and 3-time V8 Supercars champion Brett Clark. Best lap 135.
Oh, there's a moment. Is that a moment?
That's. Oh my God! Can he get it
He's
back
clipped
on?
The wall.
Oh, they're gonna run on. Oh! That was close. Let's keep an eye on this.
That car.
Splitter's still on that car. For the looks of it, Troy, I would say that car might be okay.
Don't worry about the splitter. I'm more worried about the steering, Steve. I think that car, it took a big chunk of that front corner. Not so much front on, more side on.
And he's got Stevens right on the rear wing now, and Porty is going to buy into it as well. Mr. Precision himself has kept himself nice and clean. Let's watch what Stevens does with the 69 car. So stuffed it through the field. The action's right here, right now. And look at that, locking the tyres on the way in as well.
Yeah, I don't think that car's come out of it as clean as what you think, Steve.
Don't think so. Potential steering damage on the 69 car, and he's dropped it again. He's made a mistake while having a comfortable lead. Same as Pukekohe, where pitted and got caught speeding in the pits. So is it just the fact that when you're so far in front, Troy, that you just these mistakes creep in because you're not actually challenging yourself? Would that be something to do with it?
Look, you know what? I can actually speak from experience of being in front of a race. It was here in the Utes, and
you dropped it as well.
Yes, I did. I dropped the ball. I was having hosed, but you definitely get a little complacent. You probably just go into that rhythm and just da-de-da, and then, oh, you know what, let's push that little bit harder, and then all of a sudden, no, bye-bye.
Was he potentially trying to save fuel and not running his normal pace, and has therefore made a mistake because he's not hitting the brakes in the same place, he's not on the throttle in the same place, and it's just upset his rhythm?
What it was, Steve, was coming down into the hairpin there. You've got that slight left kink there. He actually clipped the barrier there on the kink left, and he was just a passenger after that. So I don't know how he's managed to do that.
We've just got it on replay right now, Troy. So he's coming in. He's run out onto the curb there. So we're heading down towards the hairpin, and somehow it turns right here instead of. Oh, I see what he's done, Troy. He took the left-hander too tight and actually clipped the inside barrier. That's a really unusual thing to do. So just before you go down to the hairpin, Troy, you turn left, but you normally let the car drift a little bit, but instead of letting it drift, he's turned the steering and caught that inside barrier. So very lucky to get away with that.
That's why I say that I wouldn't be surprised if there's steering damage on this car because of the angle he's collected the barrier on.
That's simply got to be down to concentration, surely.
Is it, or he's just tried to sort of take that corner to maybe get that little bit later on the brakes for the hairpin and try and make up a little bit more by being straighter?
I don't think so, because there was no advantage to going that far in. And we're just coming through that section now. There, he just went across the grass and in there, but look at the rears lighting up.
Oh, the rear's loose there.
I wonder if he's stuffed those tires. We could see an early stop from the 69 car, I would imagine, at this point. Looking at
You'd have to think there's some damage on those tires, Steve. He slid a long way on them.
He did, and we've seen the black marks as well. So there's going to be some. They're going to be shaped like 50p's or 50-cent pieces, as you foreigners call them. Stevens into the pits.
In.
What a move! And look, there's what we're saying about this pit lane. Dan actually took the lead when entering the pits because it's such a fast entry as well, whereas everybody else is in the middle of the corner. So let's watch this pit stop with Stevens, see if it's a good, nice and quick one. So there goes Kinnaman past Cox there, and Dinoso are probably going to pass him as well. But it's the exit that we've got to be careful of here. So he's down to somewhere where Colin Bruns is at the moment, unless Bruns is in the pits. I think Bruns is in the pits.
Bruns is in the pits too.
So here we go. So we've got the Stevens car. It's a long stop, Troy. Still not moving.
Oh, yeah.
Still not moving. 10th position.
He's back
now.
to 10th.
Still not moving.
Could there be damage on the car?
Potentially.
That's a long stop, Steve.
There we go. So he's
lap 11.
Out on the exit now, and he's pretty much in last position on track, apart from Juice and Bruns, who have both pitted from the looks of it. Yeah.
And Steve, speak of the devil, look at our chat box.
There we go. Who have we got? Kai Turner. Hi, Kai. Unlucky you're missing this one out, but you'll get your average points, so it should keep you within touch and distance. Just to catch up, we've had Brett leading pretty much from the off. Made a massive mistake at the hairpin, clipped the inside wall, and actually went clean off the track. So carrying potentially a little bit of damage. We suspect Poitier's just gone in the background. So let's keep an eye on Stuart Poitier as he enters the pit. So that's second and third position have both pitted. The 69 car hasn't pitted as yet. So let's keep an eye and see that stop of the number 1 car was extraordinarily long.
Brett Clark cutting the first chicane there, all 4 wheels clearly off the track there.
Oh, that's going to be interesting. He better have backed off.
Oh no, he's done it again in the second batch of chicanes.
So Poitier is leaving now. So long as he keeps ahead of Dan Stevens. Where's Dan Stevens in relation to Stuart Poitier? Dan is just entering the final straight now. He's coming across the start-finish straight. I do believe Stuart Poitier has gained an enormous advantage compared to the number 1 car.
It appears to be. Yeah,
Yes,
look,
he
he's
has.
massively, he's
Cleaned
massive
him
in front.
So let's keep an eye on Clark now. So he's had a couple of offs. Look at that, the rear's lighting up. He should have been in the pits on the last lap.
I think you're right there, Steve. I definitely think you do, because he's cutting a lot of those chicanes. Like the first chicane after the pit exit there, he cut that quite viciously, and then the second chicane as well. He was quite well and truly across that.
So here we go. I would imagine he'll be diving for the pits right now. If he doesn't dive for the pits now, he's not pitting for the race, I would imagine.
You would think so.
In the pits.
And he's in.
You can tell by the speed of the car, it doesn't slow down enough because it's not trying to take that chicane. So in we go. So let's see the SRT boys go to work. So the car we're looking for is in 7th position, Stuart Poitier. We've had Gavin Cox has already pitted as well. So Cox is behind
Kinnaman's in behind him.
Kinnaman is in. So it'll be interesting to see where Kinnaman comes out first as his teammate. 555 pit is right in front of the SRT pit. So let's see where 69 comes out. This is a long stop as well. A lot of fuel going in these cars, so Clark's down to 5th now. So I think Poitier might actually jump him. Let's get Poitier on screen. Poitier is going into that chicane. Brett Clark is just leaving the pits now. And what a gap.
Poitier has cleared him.
Is Stevens going to clear him? No, he's back out and running, and there's a 4-second gap from the looks of it there.
That's incredible.
What an efficient and awesome stop by the number 3 crew there as well. He's probably done him in the pits.
I don't know whether it was his in-lap, out-lap, or his pits. I mean, it's somewhere. He has just absolutely demolished the field.
He certainly has as well, and we've seen from throughout the race that he's got the pace to run at the front as well. So what's Clark going to do next? He's got quite a gap to close down there.
He clearly does. Look, this seems to be rejuvenated.
Poitier's had an accident.
Yeah, a little bit of a...
He's tagged Trevor Dixon there. That's going to cost him a few seconds. And now we can see the 69 car on the same straight as well. So that's the last thing Stuart needed there, was a lap car getting in the way. Let's try and get a replay of that so we can see what actually happened. Dan Stevens was off track as well. Let's see if we can get Dan Stevens trying to pass Daryl Bennett to lap him, I believe. Down the inside, coming into the back chicane. And he's just overcooked it on the way in there as well, so that's not the greatest there from Dan, unfortunately. That's going to cost him a few seconds. And Clark is 3 seconds behind Stuart Poitier now, so he's making up. Trevor Dixon's in the wall in front of Poitier. Trevor Dixon actually is the race leader, so apologies to Trevor there. It's not a lap car. Trevor is actually fighting at the front here.
Yeah, he's not going to give it up without a fight.
No, Poitier really needs to get him cleared and early as well, so he's making the move to the inside for the lead. This is, so Stuart takes the corner, runs a little bit wide, not but not as bad as the Dan Stevens car through there. And here comes Clark now. He's down to 2 seconds off the lead, but he's got a car between him and Stuart Poitier. So this is all going to... Oh, Dixon almost takes the back of Poitier there. This is getting a bit unnecessary for Stuart. He's not going to like that, but Trevor's going for his life, and fair play to him. All the while, Clark is zooming in as well, so 1.9 seconds back. This
Look, that was hard there for Stuart to get past Dixon. So maybe, hopefully, Clark has the same scenario. If you're a
and Clark's right as well. Poitier and Clark both. Dan Stevens is coming through at full speed as well. Oh, that was terrible luck for Poitier there as well. Trevor obviously missed his braking point. I don't know if he was aiming for the pits. What we got? Stevens is going to take Clark, is he? No, he's right on the back of him again. So
no, I don't think he was aiming for the pit, Steve. He looked too... He was trying to make the turn as well, I think, as well. And, yeah, he's parking that car.
He's actually parked the car up, has he?
It appears to be.
Oh, that's a little bit unfortunate. He was doing well. I wonder if he's maybe ran out of fuel. Maybe he was going for the pits, but didn't get into the pits, Troy?
No, the engine's still running.
Okay, so we've got Poitier in the lead. That massive lead advantage that he had due to the battle with the 888 car there, he's lost it back down again. So normal service is resumed. The top three, who were spread out by, I made it 11 seconds actually before all of that, maybe 15. Stevens almost loses it on the curb there in the background. But I did reckon that there were about 11 seconds between the top three, and now they're all together again. So while not good for the drivers, it's great for us. So Clark's obviously going to try and make a move. That must be a wounded number 3 car.
One would think so, but he only got a little bit of a tap in the rear, so, and it wasn't a Cox in the rear, it was a Dixon.
Yeah, so all the while, this is going to go off. This race isn't done yet. We've got a yellow flag in Sector 1. I think that's the Trevor Dixon car.
Yeah, it is, mate. The car has shut down and sitting at 0 RPM. It's parked up for the day.
So here we go. We've got Clark obviously fancies his chances now. So we've got 7 laps remaining in this first race. So all to play for at the minute. A little bit unfortunate for Clark that he spun as well. But from what we could see, he had no option but to actually throw the spin because he was going to crash into the side of cars. So better safe than sorry, but that does leave the 3 car and the 69 car with some damaged tires, to say the least, versus the number 1 car. So we'll see how this plays out over the next few laps, Troy, but it's not done yet.
No, it's not, Steve, but in saying that, probably the tyres probably suffer the same amount of damage as what they did in the Brett Clark initial spin there. So, but maybe what we're forgetting here in the pit stop with SRTs, maybe they actually had steering damage that they may have repaired on that stop, and that's why it was a little bit longer.
Good point, Troy. Very good point. We're just on the nose cam of the 69 car, 3 car right, Couples heading down into the hairpin. There's a significant gap between them at the moment. He's not going to be able to make a move, but what he's going to try and do is get himself loaded up on the rear of the 3 car and try and get it down the straight. He takes that a lot of curve there on that chicane, which looks like it's actually exposing him on the exit, because Poitier takes the wide line out as the throttle on earlier, and if anything, it's pulled about 5 car lengths down this straight.
Yeah, I don't like Brett's line there. It's too tight for me to get the power down early. I think.
Do you think he's still struggling with an issue potentially?
I don't know. It's hard to say.
He's grabbed the wall there. He's grabbed the wall.
Is that Danny Dossier in the rear there, showing a... Yeah, it is in the top 5.
Just looking at from the back, from the rear of the 69 car now, you can see that number 1 car is looking threatening, to say the least.
He's definitely ranged up on the rear, hasn't he?
He's definitely looking at that, and Poitier is 0.9 seconds to the good. He was 1.6 as they crossed the line, but Clark has brought it all back in Sector 1. He's going to have to take another lap to get himself close enough to even look at making a move, and in the meantime, Dave Kinnaman is thanking everything he possibly can, because this battle is allowing him to get right up on the back, and as you said, Danny Donoso is coming alongside him as well. So he's got himself in between the 555 teammates. Gavin Cox down in 6th now from Wayne Derf, Colin Bruns from Darren Goosey. Ian Hannon having a bit of a mare of a race now down in 10th. I think he had a long pit stop from what I could see, so a little bit unfortunate there. Darrell Bennett 11th, Juice in 12th, and Trevor Dixon retired in 13th. So, oh, and the one car's gone completely offline around that corner. Out of the hairpin there, and has lost quite a bit of time as well, so that's going to give 69 a bit of a breathing space to have an attack at number 3.
Yeah, look, it's given Brent a bit of breathing space and a chance to probably focus on Poitier in front of him there. So I think Stuart's going to be having a mirror full of Volvo very shortly.
He certainly does. We're down to 0.7 seconds between the top two. Yellow flag in sector 1 again. Look at that. The 69 car is struggling to get a bit of turn on the apex there. And here we go. Yeah, that's the 888 car has the yellow flag, but is parked well off the track. Now Clark is starting to pull back in on the 3 cars, down to 0.5 seconds now. Dan Stevens looking like he's struggling a bit with rear end traction there, but he's coming back at them as well. So Clark is clearly making a setup for the hairpin, I would say, from this one.
Big lock up there from Stevens.
Look at this.
Yeah, I think Brett's just buying his time here. I think it might be on the hairpin, Steve.
0.488 the gap now. Look at this, he's making every move he can, although the 3 car got a really good exit out of that corner, but he's narrowing the gap every sector. We're down to 0.2 as we enter the hairpin. He's just got to get this line right through here. That's not bad at all. Look at that, Troy. Can be able to draft all the way down the straight. 0.2 the gap now, so let's see if he tries to make a move. It's probably a little bit far back. No DRS on these cars, so it's not going to help him. He's making the move, Troy.
Oh, he's pulled it out.
Late on the brakes. Where's the...
Oh, he's taking too much curb.
I think that one was the 3 car wasn't having any of that, and fair play to him as well. What an awesome move there. So let's see what we've got.
Let's give Stevens the run.
Stevens got the run. Oh, Clark's had to let
take
it go.
the spot. Great bit of driving there from Stevens.
Down
Show some
inside
aggression.
as well. It's actually going to show the replay. 1 car has lit up the rears. 69 is up and running again. Here comes 55 on 1. It's not going to happen. 1's going to go wide. No, he didn't, and Dinoso is thanking everything he can think of as well, because he's allowed to get back into the battle now as well. So here we go, it's take 2, 69 car. So let's see if we can get a look at that move on Clark and Poitier. So let's get it. So replay, we're coming down the back straight now, and as we've seen, the 69 car got right under the rear wing, pulled right any second now. So yeah, he's getting all of the draft down here, pulls out to the right to make the move, stays on the curb. Oh, locked the rears on the way in is what actually happened, Troy. And they both ran out. Good driving from both of them there. He's doing the same thing again, Troy, from the looks of it. Look at the exit, right under the rear wing now of the 3 car. And behind the Dinoso, the 55 car and the 1 car are going at it as well. I don't know where to look, Troy.
Where did you look, Steve? Because these top 5 at the moment are definitely putting on a show to remember.
Here comes the 3 car, 69 right up the back end of it. 69 is going to try and get a decent exit off here as well. 5 and 1 and the Dinoso car are all together as well. I believe you call it racing for sheep stations, don't you, down there?
Yeah, apparently they are. Apparently they are racing for the so-called sheep station, or the proverbial sheep station. Because I tell you what, it's worth a lot, clearly.
I tell you what, though, that 3 car getting through turn 1 and 2 pulls an advantage on every lap, which makes Clark have to catch up the whole way around this one to try and get back into position to overtake. If he could get a better run through 1 and 2, he could try it at the hairpin. But as it is, although look at this one, Troy, just as we say, we're down to 0.3 second gap between first and second position. 3 car leading the way from 69. 1 car is holding off the 55 car, and Danny Dinoso holding a watching brief in 5th position there. But man, this race is really on. So let's see how the exit Clark gets through here as well. He's obviously doesn't want to try at the hairpin, Troy, for some reason. Maybe he's just not confident enough to pull it up in time.
Maybe he doesn't have the confidence in his brakes that he needs to be able to pull that move off.
Now,
And there it is, wide shallow exit.
Took a wide apex through there as well. He's really on the back of it this time. So 0.3 seconds the gap. So he's right in the slipstream of the 3 car now. Let's see where he goes for the move. 0.2 seconds the gap. 0.1 seconds the gap. Poitier went to cover nice and early there. Clark had no option but to hold his line. So he really got to concentrate on getting through turn 1 and 2 and get on the back of that car earlier in the lap to give himself a few more opportunities. We're running out of laps.
I think you're right there, Steve. Almost looks like he's making that hairpin a double apex in the fact that he starts sort of
look at
a little bit wide.
There's your example of it. Poitier is 0.5 seconds clear over the line, whereas Clark was within 0.2 of him entering that final section of left-right Wall of Champions section. So he's got to really concentrate on getting it together through this first section.
I think the problem is he's not getting the drive out of that Wall of Champions section there, Steve, and that's where a lot of the gap's been made.
I think the problem is he's trying to make the move on Poitier going into that final section, so maybe he needs to back off and not try to make the move on one lap and concentrate on getting the best speed through that corner actually, and see how he goes with that one. But he's back again to within 0.3 now. Same as last time. He's lost a lot of time through there. Actually lost 3/10 on that corner alone, so something not quite right. So let's switch back to the number 1 and the 5 car, because it's on through here as well. 1 goes to block early. Yep. Gives the 55 nowhere to overtake, but then that gives the 55 a better exit. Donoso was also holding a nice brief there on the back of the 55 car. 55 has lit up the rears. Is that going to give the Danny Donoso car an opportunity to make a move here going into the final section? Now this one I'm talking about. Clark's far enough back that he just needs to concentrate through this section to get the best exit. So no change between 1 and 55 and the Donoso car. And across the line again, Stuart Poitier has got almost a second to the good with 2 laps remaining. Clark's probably looks like he's taking a bit of a breather, a little bit of a rear steps out there on the 3 car. That's allowing Clark to catch up through this section, but he's got a lot of ground to make up on this lap.
And we've got our second time at Steve, Daryl Bennett out of the car.
Unfortunately for Daryl, not quite been the season he wants there with Oranga Racing. He appears to be the only entrant for the last few, and Clark's got every wheel off the track there as well, so he's pushing as hard as he can. But I've got a feeling this is the last lap. I've got a feeling Poitier's got this one in the bag.
I think he does, Steve, and surprising that he's cut off that chicane quite a few times, so he's obviously been lucky to get away with that one.
So here we go, 3 car coming around. So Clark's 0.4 seconds off. He needs to be a lot closer than that to make the move, unless he's going to try and do it down the final straight again. It's his only opportunity. He's not close enough through the hairpin, so he's got to get a good exit out of this one, which he hasn't been getting consistently. Every so often he gets it. That's
he's lit them up. I think it's all over.
Don't know. Poitier is lighting the rears up as well, so we're 0.4 seconds a gap. Yeah, it's pretty much all over. Poitier's just got to stay down the inside at the worst case. And there he goes. He stays to the inside. Clark's 0.2 seconds back. Yeah, he's not going to catch enough distance through there to catch it up. And here we go. Stuart Poitier for his 3rd win of the year. Is it, or 2nd win of the year?
I think it might be 2nd.
And Stuart Poitier takes the win there from Brett Clark. So let's just get a look. Yes, 2nd win of the year for Stuart there. Excellent drive from Stuart. Dan Stevens holds them off for 3rd position as well on the podium. So he had an awesome battle there with Dave Kinnaman and Danny Donoso. Gavin Cox in 6th position, Wade there 7th. Colin Bruns 8th. Darren Goosey 9th. Ian Hannon in 10th. Juice in 11th, Daryl Bennett 12th, Trevor Dixon at DNF in 13th position there. So fantastic driving from all involved, and what a race to watch there, Troy.
Oh, look, there was actually plenty all over the place. Even at the end there, it was between Bruns and Goosey. You can see that there wasn't much of a gap between them, so it's quality racing throughout the whole field.
So let's get the top 3 down for the post-race interviews. So So welcome to our top three. Stuart Poitier taking the win from Brett Clark and Dan Stevens in third position. Congratulations, guys. Good race. Just come to you first, Dan. Bloody awesome race, Dan, from your perspective. Qualified second, ran second for most of the race until the pit stop, and then something not quite right in the pit. You looked like you were held for longer than most people. Popped back out well down the field, but got your way back up into third. So, what happened in the pit stand?
I split my fuel down the middle, mate. So I did half the race. So I had to go for more fuel at the in my pit stop.
So just talk us through the lap where you came to the back chicane, the chicane at the end of the straight, and seen the 69 car and the 3 car completely round as well. You must have been thinking, this is my opportunity.
Yeah, well, I did actually, and I thought, I saw Brett. He was the other way, and I thought, here we go, it's all on now, and but no, it wasn't to be.
And then you had the close attention of the 55 and the Danny Donoso car for the rest of it as well. You did well to manage to hold 55 off.
Yeah, my rear tyres were absolutely shot trying to catch it back up to Brett again because I knew I lost it in the pit stop. But holding those guys off was a really good race. I bet Dave will have something to say about the manoeuvre down at the hairpin, but I held my line, so we'll go from there.
It is what it is, Dan. Congratulations, well done on a fine third place. Over to driver of the 69 car, Brett Clark. Not quite the result you were expecting. You had that issue early on where you clipped the inside wall on the way down to the hairpin, which obviously threw the car off. Did that cause some damage that needed to be rectified in the pit stop?
Yep. Yeah, had to have repairs on the pit stop. But anyway, first of all, well done to Stuart. Good race there, and obviously Dan for pushing me so hard at the beginning of the race. But yeah, just one of those races that wasn't meant to be.
Yeah, that's been a couple of them now over the last round or so as well. So unlucky there, but still you're still knocking in second and third positions at the very least, or well, second positions. So consolidating the points lead.
Yeah, it's got to just keep on it, don't you? And just be as pick up the points when you have a bad day.
Good stuff. And over to driver of the number 3 car, Stuart Poitier. Second win of the year, Stuart. Congratulations. What did you do in the pits? Because you had a 7-second lead over the 69 car when you came out.
Yeah, Steve, I didn't really know what I was going to do on the hard tyres, so I just filled it at the start and saw how far I could get with it.
You must have been gutted. Obviously, you had the battle with the 888 car, who was actually leading at that point as well, and then got bumped up the rear end as well. So, must have been pretty upset with that one.
Yeah, I think that's just. I wasn't expecting it, but it definitely helped me through the chicane a different way.
Absolutely, and then you did well to break the challenge of the 69 car through the rest of the race as well. He had a look a few times, but there was that one in particular through the final chicane where obviously you weren't giving it up.
No, I was trying to leave enough room so that he could get around if he could do it, but I was going to hang on to that line till the end.
Good stuff, well done. Congratulations to our top 3, and hopefully we get to speak to you after race 2.
Thanks, Steve.
Cheers, mate. Thank you.
Cheers, Steve.
Congrats, Stuart.
Thanks.
So there we have it. We've got the awesome race 1. Brett Clark losing out there at the end, but Stuart Poitier, I mean, if he hadn't had that incident with the 888 car, he would have disappeared off into distance following that pit stop, Troy.
Yeah, I'd say he would have. He was definitely looking in a different class today after he got round Brett there with his pit stop strategy.
I can't say enough about how I like this guy's driving style. He's there, does everything he needs to do, and just when you think that he's possibly beaten or whatever, he's actually just been holding back until he's sorted out what he's going to do next, and then he just goes for it.
Oh, look, he's brilliant. He really is good to watch. He's really, he's a great signing for DSA. I will say that. And speaking of DSA, see in the chat box there that Kai's asking how the 408 car is. Mate, it's on fire. been beaten every panel to within an inch of its life. I even took it out the back and did a couple of donuts.
Oh dear. Okay, so we'll take a quick 2-minute break and we will be back with you all for the running of race 2. So, welcome back everybody to our coverage of round 6 from Montreal. Alongside me as always is Troy Allen. So Troy, we had a pretty awesome race 1 there as well. One thing I did notice is Dan made reference to maybe the driver of 55 being upset with him for something. So let's see if we can get 55 down and have a quick chat.
I don't think that's anything out of the ordinary, is it, Steve?
So, Dave, just joining us for the moment in the comms box. 4th position there in race 1. Definitely looked like you could have gone a bit further if you'd have been able to get past the 1 car. How was it from your perspective?
It's I was really happy with the race. I got a fantastic start. Just got a fantastic start up to 5th place, 4th or 5th place straight away from 9th, which was recovering from the top 10 shootout. And then, had a great battle with Dan for many laps. I pushed him a little bit wide at turn 3 and 4, trying to get down the inside. Tried to get past him into the hairpin a few times, and he was very defensive. Got a really good run onto him on the last lap and got in front of him, but unfortunately got punted a bit. So I think the stewards might have to look at it afterwards, but hence my little protest in pulling up onto the podium spaces after the race.
Yeah, we did wonder what your car was doing there as well, so I think point made.
I was just trying to, mimic what happened in the F1 the other day and cause a bit of confusion over the podium.
Excellent, well done. Good luck for race 2, Dave, and hopefully we'll speak to you after.
Cheers, mate. See you later.
So, Bruce, Steve in the comms box.
Hi, Steve.
Anything to look out for from race 1?
There is one incident, yes, right at the tail end of the hairpin. At the end of the back straight, the beginning of the back straight, the number 1 car and the number 55 cars were involved.
Yeah, we've just had reference from both drivers to that one. Unfortunately, we missed it because we were watching the race winner cross the line. So, what actually happened from your perspective?
I've just had a very brief look at it, and the number 55 car has already overtaken the number 1 halfway through the lap into one of the chicanes. I never quite caught which one it was. Then it just looks like a simple case of the number 1 car maybe just missed its braking by a brief second because of the the nature of the time of the race and everything like that.
Mm-hmm.
Hit the 55 gets punted right off the track.
Oh dear, so obviously that'll come to the attention post-race. That's
correct, yes.
Okay, fair enough. On track limits, we've seen a few drivers pushing the limits. The 69 car in particular had a couple of excursions, shall we say. Any time gained, or we just is that one all clear?
They were very borderline, but it was just within. 69 tried to gain a slight advantage, and you saw what happened to him.
Yeah, clearly. I suppose the other incident of the race then is the 888 car into the back of race leader. What was the view on that one?
That one I never caught.
Yeah, just into the final chicane, just after the 3 car had passed 888 for the lead, the hairpin. 888 looked like it missed its braking point and took out 3, and then 69 had to spin to avoid it as well, which obviously gives us a great race to the end, but looked like either 888 was going to head for the pits, and it was obviously a brake later going in there, so took the 3 car out.
Right, yes. That'll be next one to look into as well. Oh, and on another note, I was mistaken with the Pukekohe event. I was thinking of another incident, but the one which involved the number 5 car and the number 222 car, the 222 was at fault, and the 222 is gaining some lovely points on his license due to that incident.
Excellent. Cheers, Bruce. We'll speak to you through race 2.
No problem.
So there we have it. Busy day for the stewards. We're just about to head into race 2 now. So this is the longer of our 2 races. This one is 48 laps, Troy. And suicidally, it's on the soft tire only.
Yeah, I think Suicide is being nice about it.
So we obviously know the fuel window won't let you do 22 laps. So you've got 42 now. So there's going to be at least 2 pit stops. Yeah? Would that be fair?
I think 2 is going to be the minimum.
Yeah, and then we throw the less durable soft tire into the mix. You've done a bit of testing on this track as well. I did some earlier in the week as well on the soft tire, and I was struggling mightily with tire wear on that soft tire.
Oh, look, I think I was looking at about 5% a lap in degradation,
Yeah.
and that's at a 135 lap pace.
Yeah, pretty much. I was around about the same, maybe even a little bit higher on some laps as well. So, and you can't really throw the car around on that tire either, even though the grip suggests you can. But the punishment on the other side of it is losing all grip that you can possibly get.
You're exactly right, Steve. If you start throwing around this car on the soft tire, it will disappear from underneath you. And in a track like this, it's not what you want because you can get a lot of high-speed understeer, and then it's race over.
Yeah, and there's 2 places on this track that will wipe you out with understeer. Is not so much the hairpin on the back straight, because if you understeer off, you've at least got some tarmac to get back on. But the little right-left chicane of turn 3 and 4, there's just walls on either side, so understeer there, and you're going to hurt really badly. And
then turn 5.
Yeah, and then obviously the final chicane, there's only a wall on the outside, so any understeer there, and it's good night again.
Look, it's almost very street circuit like this track in the fact that there is not a lot of runoff in certain places.
That's exactly right, Troy. It is. It's identical to what we would class as a street track. You've got nowhere to. There's nowhere to forgive if you make a mistake. It's going to be all over.
I mean, it's not so bad if you make a mistake coming down the back straight into the Wall of Champions because you've got the pit wall to go through. So, but that's really and the final hairpin. They're really the only 2 places you can afford a mistake.
Absolutely. The final hairpin is very forgiving. You can run all the way, and as we've seen with the 69 car, get back on the track, provided you haven't damaged the car on the way in. You should be fine, but it is going to take the remaining life out of those tires as well. So it's going to be interesting to see what's going to happen with this one. And you're looking towards your 555 team, the 1 car, the 3 car, and the 69 car. They're well known for being able to look after tires over a race distance. So they'll be the gold standard, if you like, for the amount of pit stops you need to do. We just had our one of our viewers back on there. The 3-car Stuart Portier run race 1 from Brett Clark and Dan Stevens in 3rd position. However, that's a disputed 3rd position from what we understand as well, Troy.
Yeah, I didn't hear the conversation with Bruce because he must have taken me off that whisper button with you because I didn't hear any of it. But speaking of winning, Steve, before we go any further, I do believe I won the bet. We got away on that race restart. Thank you.
Yes, you did. I'll send your Dunkin' Donut in the post. It should be in good condition by the time it gets to you. So here we go. Ian Hannon is in pole position, rolling up from Darren Goosey. Colin Bruns will be starting 3rd. Wayne Dare 4th. Gavin Cox 5th. Danny Donoso starting 6th. Dave Kinnaman 7th. Dan Stevens starting 8th. Off 9th position will be Brett Clark. Race 1 winner Stuart Portier will be starting off 10th, followed by Juice, Darrell Bennett, and the unlucky Trevor Dixon, who I do suspect ran out of fuel, Troy. I think there's more to that move on the 3 car than just an accidental break. I'd assume he was heading for the pits at that stage and grabbed the later brake marker, if you like, that leads you into the pits. So a little bit of a misjudgment there from Trevor, but we move on.
I don't know so much about fuel, Steve, because he sat idle in that section where he parked the car up for quite some time. So for him to be low on fuel or out of fuel, he sat idling for quite a while.
Unless he decided he couldn't make the full lap and find somewhere safe to pull off, because as you know, there's not a lot of safe places to pull off here.
There's nowhere safe to pull off anywhere.
So just looking as a fire, is that the 55 car just pulling in? Yes, it is. Just lighting up the
Of course, it is
tires.
the last car in.
He's just lighting up the tires all the way in there as well to try and get as much heat into these tires. So here we go. We're getting ready to queue up. Green,
Ian Hannon there pointing the car straight across the...
Awesome start there from Ian Hannon. Darren Goosey looks like he missed the start. Colin Bruns is already sniffing around for that position, but he's not going to get down the inside. So
Wayne Dare's been pitted there.
He certainly has.
Massive issue. Stuart Porter involved too, with Daryl Bennett, Wayne Dare.
So we've just got a replay of that coming up now. So we've got the start going. Stuart Portier is down in 10th position at this point. He's already hooked on to the back of Brett Clark. The one car is going right. Daryl Bennett is on the outside. What happens next? It looks like he got a tap from Juice first into the Daryl Bennett car. So that's going to be a bit of a challenge to say the least to get back up from there.
Definitely, and looking at the Wayne Dare moment there, he seemed to get a little bit of a tap from Gavin Cox.
Yeah, we're just getting the replay of that one up now as well. So if you just keep an eye on the race, we'll get the replay here. So Wayne Dare starting nicely up there. The 5 cars down the inside. No, he's not. Yeah, I think it was just a little bit, maybe a little bit clumsy from Wayne. He turned in more than he needed to. There is 2 lines through there, so it looks like Wayne moved off the inside line to the left-hand side, and that caused a few problems. So just looking up front, we've got Colin Bruns has passed the Darren Goosey car, and he's into 2nd position and setting off after Ian Hannon. Darren Goosey now 3rd, Danny Donoso up to 4th, Dan Stevens up to 5th, with Brett Clark for close company. Not close company, actually. Clark is a good distance back off Dan Stevens and trying to hold off the Dave Kinnaman car at the moment.
You're saying there that the Wayne Dare incident was probably more a case of him turning in, but really, did Gavin really need to have the nose of that car that far up, that early in the race on lap 1?
Well, if he's turning in, Troy, you've got to remember he's expecting to hold that outside line round the corner, and then suddenly the other car appears across the front. But we'll leave it up to the stewards to have a look at anyway. They're obviously going to be busy from this one already, so up front, meanwhile, Ian Hannon, is that Danny Donoso?
A massive moment.
Just caught that out of the back end, and here comes the 1 car. Is trying to get past down the inside. Is he going to? No, he thought better of it. That's going to cost him versus Brett Clark, who's coming up on him now. So Hannon leading the way, 1.2 second lead over Colin Bruns. Darren Goosey 3rd, Danny Donoso in 4th position. The 1 car of Dan Stevens looking to make a move on Danny Donoso sooner rather than later. Brett Clark taking that same line he did through the other races as well. You can see it differs significantly from everybody else. He grabs the apex earlier, then holds it in rather than let it run out. So seems to work for him.
Yeah, but is that putting excess load on those working tyres? I mean, you got to ask yourself that question too.
I don't know, you're talking about a 3-time Supercars champion there. So, 51 car in the wall, almost hit his teammate as well. Team boss Dan Stevens is now on the outside. Brett Clark looking to make a move as well, and
put a buffer
moves straight across in front of him. And there goes 69 down the inside there. He just forced the issue in the end. I don't think he was impressed with the 51 moving back over onto the race line. It almost needs a change of underwear in this next pit stop.
I'd be changing the race suit too.
I think so.
It's a slight yellow mark too.
Back up and running. 69 now looking for a way around the 1 car. 1 car looking for a way around Danny Donoso. Ian Hannon has had his lead cut down to 1.1 seconds now by Colin Bruns. So Bruns is looking for a way past as well. Let's see what 69 does with the 1 car this time round.
Interesting to see here. You got some of the boys that, you know, had some good racing in the top 10 in the back end of the last race, mixed in with some of the boys that were up the front in the last race as well. Now you got Clark behind Stevens. Could this be a case of these two get caught up in their own race and these boys at the front get to enjoy some time up the front and possibly even get a win?
Not sure. They're former teammates, these two as well, so they know each other inside and out as well. And you've seen on that move into the hairpin as well, 69 was thinking about making a move. The one car moved across the cover. 69 changed his mind, ran outside and tried to tighten off the apex. And here we go. We've got the Dinoso car making a move on Colin Bruns into the final chicane. 69 car also towed right up to the back there, but backed out of it a little bit. Oh, there goes
Oh,
the...
he's been touched.
Yeah, we had the, let me see.
Yeah, he's had a touch there from Stevens.
Yeah, we haven't got that on the replay. Let's see if we can get it from...
Oh,
What's happened? Darren Goosey's
it's
right.
a massive, massive thanks for coming from Dan Stevens into the back of Colin Bruns.
Just watching it now. So we've got Bruns coming in. And yep, we've just got the one car just lifted him up and off he went. So a little bit unfortunate for Colin there as well as he's back up and running, is he? He is.
He's up and running back, but he's
Danny
all the way
Dinoso
back in
to
12.
the lead. But Hannon is going to duke it out on the outside, but he's not going to be able to turn in, is he? We can give it a go, and here comes Brett Clark as well now, so Clark is up straight away. Ever the Predator, he just took advantage of that one straight away, seen what was going to happen, placed his car where Ian had no chance to come back at him. A one car down the inside of the 7 as well.
I do think that's going to be all fruitless now with any position he gains, because I do strongly suspect that there'll be a PLP for him.
I would expect a drive-through penalty coming his way any second now. Danny Dinoso out in the lead now with a 1.6 second gap over Brett Clark. So let's have a look at Danny's driving style. Obviously it's his first race with us, and he's 51 and 5 in the background having an issue as well. So 0.409 seconds faster on that lap than his previous lap. So doing a nice little pace now. He's out in front as well. Brett Clark 1.5 seconds back. Dan Stevens 2.5 seconds back. Ian Hannon in 4th, 3.4 seconds back of that. David Kinnaman 5th. Darren Goosey 6th. Gavin Cox 7th. So I think Darren Goosey and Gavin Cox came together, and obviously Gavin looks like he's regressed or let Darren get back on track.
Just watching it now, Steve, he sort of bumped Darren wide through the wall of champions there, and he cut the chicane, so he stayed in front.
So we've got an unknown quantity leading the race, first race with us as well. So it'll be interesting to see what kind of pace Danny has now. He's out on his own as well. He looks like he's holding his own so far. 28.5 through Sector 1, 28.7 for Brett Clark through Sector 1, 28.7 for Dan Stevens. So fastest through Sector 1 on this lap, the leading car of Danny Dinoso. Sector 2, 29.240 for the leading car, 29.280 for Brett Clark, 29.30 for Dan Stevens. So Dinoso is actually holding a faster pace at the moment than the two cars behind, so trying to make good his escape while he can.
I think that definitely sounds like what he could be doing. It's get out, get going, and I don't know, they're going for a short
Dan Stevens in the pit, drive-through penalty, I would imagine.
Have a look at that.
Yep, drive-through. Wow, he's going to be
think that's
spitting
fair.
it. No, pit. It's a stop-go,
Pit?
isn't it? No, he's changing tyres.
I think that's part of the stop-go process.
No, you won't get your tyres changed under a stop-go.
No, you're right there,
Not
sorry.
sure. Let's see if we can get the stewards on the horn. Bruce from Steve. Bruce,
Go, Steve.
is that a drive-through for the one car?
Not yet, no.
Okay.
That incident's still being investigated along with the other two at the turn 1.
Fair enough. We'll let you get back to it. So stewards are looking at those penalties. Penalties. I'm jumping the gun here. Looking at those incidents. Interesting that Stevens took the opportunity for a pit stop on lap 5. The tyres can't have been gone by then, or would he have had damage?
I dare say he may have had some damage from the impact with Bruns.
So looking down the field, Stuart Poirier has recovered to 9th position, 13.2 seconds off the lead. he's got some going to get back up front again. But he's probably, if you're in the driver's seat this time, Troy, at this time in the race, you're probably, and you've had an incident, you're going to run conservative, aren't you? And try and eke out as much you can out of those tires. So you've either got a short final stop or not a final stop, if you like.
I think that's definitely the option I'm going to be taking. Is I'm going to be trying to get as much life out of these tyres as I can, and my fuel tank. It's more going to be a case of fuel that dictates when you stop more than the tyres.
So we've got the 14 car on screen, and he's clearing off out into lead at 34.944 on that lap versus 35.611 for Brett Clark. Dave Kinnaman in third position and a 36.5 on that lap as well. So varying strategies, I would say, at work here, Troy.
Yeah, it could be another short stint. Like, I mean, that stint of Dan Stevens there, if that was a plan, that's a very, very, very short stint. But could be short, long for the Outlaw team.
Well, just watching the 14 car on track as well, it's lighting up the rears on the exit of corners quite a bit. And in fact, we've just seen it happen right in front of us, which would suggest that he's going all out at the moment to try and gap and maybe do a short first stint. Whereas the 69 car looks like it's more conservative on this stint. Would that be fair?
I think not so much conservative, just in the groove, in the rhythm, just go along with the race.
So 1.9 seconds in the lead now, the 14 car over the 69. 55 is dropping right back, 8.5 seconds off the lead right now. Let's just pop down and see where Stuart Poitier is on track, and he's quite a bit of distance back from Wayne Dare at the moment, and this definitely looks like a Friday night leaving work. Everybody's rammed together at the minute and looking for every piece of tarmac they can possibly find, and we've got the recovering Colin Bruns there as well.
Yeah, definitely a train forming here. And we've got Gavin Cox in the pits early too.
Interesting to see. Is that a penalty? That was a penalty, Troy. That was a drive-through.
That must have been for the incident on Wayne Dare.
I would imagine that is the incident on Wayne Dare, so I called that one completely wrong as far as the stewards had seen it. So imagine the next car to... Yeah, and here we go. One car in for a drive-through penalty as well.
That's going to hurt.
So stewards are on the case this weekend. Obviously, a couple of instances there where other drivers were turned by the 5 car and the 1 car. Drive-through penalty for Stevens now leaves him 59 seconds off the lead. So a safety car here could shake things back up for him. So remains to be seen what happens regarding that. So Clark has cut the lead down to 1.2 seconds now. So a 1:35.271 on the last lap versus 1:35.663 for Danny Donoso. I think this is strategy at play here, Troy. Clark doesn't want to take too much out of those tyres, and Donoso is obviously pushing for all he's worth, and there he almost throws it in the wall of champions there on the exit. He really lights up the rear of this car.
Yeah, he seems to be very aggressive on that throttle, doesn't he, Steve?
Yeah, 35.8. We've just got the stewards. Go ahead, Bruce.
3 cars getting drive-through penalties. Number 1, avoidable contact. Number 5, avoidable contact. And number 23, avoidable contact.
Okay, fair enough. Thanks for the information, Bruce. So there we have it. We've got 1 car avoidable contact, 5 car avoidable contact, and 23 car Daryl Bennett avoidable contact. He obviously took Stuart Poitier out as well. So a little bit antsy early in this race, Troy.
Yeah, that's what I said. We always keep saying, I mean, especially the Enduros, when we've all been sitting on the grid, Steve, we've always heard the voice of reason. Someone always comes up with, it's not one on the first corner on the first lap. And it just seemed to be that notion was thrown out the window.
Definitely, yeah. There was some hard moves in that race, so in that first section of the race. So let's see how it shakes out now. So we've got Clark closing down on Danny Donoso again. A 10th faster, 3/10 faster in sector 1, a 10th faster in sector 2. Still the 2 fastest cars on track at the moment.
I tell you what, Steve, if this is the future of Outlaws Racing Team, then it's looking pretty bright for them too.
He's looking pretty strong, yeah, definitely. He's got it together nicely. Down within
But that does
this.
depend on Wayne Dare. He can put his bad season behind him and pick up again.
Absolutely. So we've got Brett Clark within a second now. So he's closed down 0.4 of a second on the last lap with 35.893 for Danny Donoso with 35.431. So we're going to see the full ability of Danny Donoso very shortly when that 69 car gets to the rear of it. See what his moves are like with traffic and with overtaking.
It'll be interesting. Let's see how wide can he make that Commodore. That actually looks like it has some extra diffusers on the front bar there, Steve. Can we get that checked for legality, please?
Yeah, I can see what you're talking about. So he's really driving this car from the rear as well. You can see it. He squirts the rear and then straightens it up and then drives through the corner as well, which it must be hurting his tire life, you'd imagine.
That would have to be burning up those rears, really burning them up. I mean, especially the soft tire, it doesn't like heat, not as much. And I'd hate to be that rear tire, especially that left rear around here.
We've got our first retirement in the race. Daryl Bennett in the 23 car has parked it somewhere on track as well. So DNF for Daryl. Not really the season he was expecting joining Oranga Racing. I'm sure he was expecting 2 cars on track to be able to bounce ideas and stuff off, but not to be.
No, look, notable absence has been the absence of both Norman and Roger Clark. Those two haven't really shown a face at all this season.
So Donoso's lowered his average lap on that last one by a couple of tenths, but Clark is still catching him up. So
massive light up there.
Yeah, you've got the we've all had this before, the relentless pursuit by the 69 car. He just does not give up, does he? And he's closing in with every lap, with every corner at the moment, in fact.
I have had the pleasure of having him behind me, and it is intimidating. It really, really is, because you know that he can, he will put a move on when he's ready.
Exactly. You know he's coming past at some stage. It's just your best idea is to choose where, or if you're going to fight him, to make that car as wide as possible. So let's see which option the 14 car takes. And here we go. 69 is right on the rear deck lid now of that Commodore in front. He's probably close enough to make a move at the hairpin actually on this lap, but Donoso stays out wide. Clark thinks better of it. Oh, Clark's round.
And Clark's around.
Clark is round. That leaves
a mistake.
Where's Kinnaman? And he gets away with that actually. That's another mistake from Clark on this track today. Very unusual.
He was saying, Steve, how much he loves this track. It's a beautiful track. It's this. I tell you what, it's biting him in the ass pretty hard.
It certainly is, and we do know he's got some new equipment in that car as well. So, just wonder if he's not completely in tune with that yet.
Interesting point there, Steve. But one thing I will advise Denny on here when racing Brett, if you don't think that's a place to pass, guarantee you Brett will pass you there.
Exactly. He's going to make it a place to pass no matter what. We've got Triple Eight almost losing it in the back, and I was just going to point out Ian Hannon doing a fantastic job. He's in the 4th position, so did lose those 3 positions early, but he's holding a nice steady brief in 4th position. Again, when you've got some of the top drivers in the points like Poitier, Cox and Stevens down in 8th, 11th and 12th respectively, and just got Stewart on screen now. And I did mention earlier that if I was Stewart, I would switch to the more conservative strategy right now and try and eke out a few more laps on these tyres than the other cars can. And he certainly seems to be either sticking to his guns on that one or maybe carrying damage. So can't see anything visibly on the car, but he's staying behind Wayne Dare. He's 20 seconds off the lead, so that's over a pit stop behind. Well, it's about a pit stop behind. So let's see what he does with that now.
It will be interesting. I mean, looking back too, you've got quite a battle here between Juicer and Cox. It's on.
Well, we're just actually taking a replay of that incident with Brett Clark as well. So we're just coming into the hairpin now. He obviously makes a move to the right and snatches the rear brake from the looks of it. And Donoso was actually going wide as well on that one. So both cars weren't going to make that corner from the looks of it. So they just got a little bit over enthusiastic there, and it's cost them again. 2nd race running.
Yeah, look, it's not something you're used to seeing from Brett. I mean, 2 mistakes in the one event, that's unheard of.
Is he potentially suffering from a lack of a teammate in these 2 rounds? Because without the 46 car there, we've seen a couple of mistakes creep in the last few rounds.
No, I don't think that's the case. I think Brett's too focused to have noticed not having the teammate there. I mean, Brett's his own man. He has very much his own style of setup and everything like that. And you know yourself, Steve, you can't drive a Brett Clark setup unless you're Brett Clark.
Absolutely, yeah. So 135.9 for Danny Donoso on the last lap, and 135.3 for Brett Clark on the last lap. So he's coming back at him. Obviously got more work to do than he would have liked to have, but still doing a fine job. Kinnaman is 8.4 seconds off in 3rd position, Hannon 17 seconds further back in 4th, Darren Goosey 5th, Trevor Dixon 20 seconds off the lead. Just lost Trevor Dixon as we said that. Nope, he's back up 4th position. Wayne Dare in 5th, Stuart Potty in 6th. Ian Hannon has actually pitted, I believe, or made a mistake. Ian Hannon made a mistake. Let's get that on the replay. That was unfortunate. He's just locked the rears into the back end of the track from under the bridge, and 51 car straight into the side of him as well. Big accident there. 51 got the splitter stuck underneath it, and both 7 and 51 lost a lot of positions on that one.
Ouch.
Dave Kinnaman is ahead of Brett Clark. Clark's in the pits.
It seems to be a gaggle of cars coming here. You got Dare, Portier, and Clark.
We certainly do. So that is Clark.
And Cox, Hannon, Goosey.
Goosey is in because of missing splitter. Hannon will probably be in for damage from that one as well. Yeah, so 13 laps in the books and a lot of cars in the pit. 69 is still in 4th position. Danny Donoso still leading from Dave Kinnaman, who's 7 seconds off the lead now. So Kinnaman is homing in by 0.8 of a second on the last lap. So we got Brett Clark back out again and just ahead of Dan Stevens. I'll tell you what.
Oh, Darren Portier side by side through the pits, and Dare takes the pit lane drag race.
He does certainly as well. I'll tell you what. That's a hell of a drive from Dan Stevens. So he's had a pit stop for tyres and fuel, yeah, and he's had a drive through, and he's only 5 seconds behind Brett Clark at the minute.
That's one hell of a drive.
Oh, and Donoso's in the pits as well now. So from the lead, Danny Donoso straight into the pits. Where's Dave Kinnaman? Dave Kinnaman had closed that 7-second gap down to 3 seconds by the time he entered the pits. That's impressive.
Yeah, clearly Donoso's had an issue here somewhere.
Definitely. So we've just got Brett Clark on screen now. Half the track to go to actually get round there. So did he have a mare of a pit stop?
I think he's had more of a race just in general.
Well, he's 27 seconds off them yet. Has Kinnaman or Donoso started moving yet? Not yet.
Not yet.
Still in the pits.
Still stationary.
Still in the pits. So Clark's down the back straight now.
Still waiting on fuel. Donosio's off.
Started moving. Clark's on the start-finish strip, but he's got to take that corner of turn 1 and 2. What about Kinnaman? Is he moving?
Yes, he is now.
So there goes Clark into 2nd position, driving for all he's worth. Where does Dave come out? Yeah, Kinnaman's made up significant time on Clark in that pit stop. That was a bad stop there from the SRT crew. Danny
That case of beer, Steve, it's back to haunt you.
Danny Donoso has pulled out to 5.5 second lead now.
Tell you what, it's been a good stint there, because if he's managed to hold that lead, that's one hell of a job, especially considering that Clark had a chance to open there to the undercut.
He's extended it as well. So it was 2.5 seconds going in. It's 5.5 seconds now. And Clark is actually on fresher tyres. So impressive drive there from Danny Donoso. But I'll tell you what, Dave Kinnaman, did well in that as well, although it's back out to 9 seconds now, so he's had a bit of a messy outlap from the looks of it. Interesting to see where it all shakes out in a moment, but Clark's going to have to get up on the wheel here to get into the lead.
Definitely so. I mean, it'd be interesting to know whether these boys are stopping because of tyres or because of fuel. I mean, I think it's probably more... What do you think, Steve? Maybe tyres? I mean, especially around lap 13, 14?
I think it's got to be tyres. I would say tyres are going to be the limiting factor all day here, so if they can only do, say, 13 laps on average, that's another 2 stops, Troy, to get home.
Yeah, that is right. I mean, are you just limiting the damage there by going?
If you go 2 stops with 13 laps on average, that's going to leave you with a 9-lap stint at the end. If you pit again, or if you're doing the 13 laps, otherwise it's going to leave you with a, let me say, 23-lap stint on a soft tire. No, they're going to have to stop a couple more times, I would say. 2 more stops I would bank on.
Maybe that's the idea behind the Stevens and the early pit stop there. He's gone for the reverse strategy, which you see Larkham and Compton talk about.
Yeah, you actually see that a lot in NASCAR as well, at places like Watkins Glen and stuff as well. Is they know how many stops it's going to take them to get to the end, and they take the short stint at the start if you're buried in traffic to try and get yourself back up again. So potentially a good move there from Dan Stevens. Get the shorter bit out of the way and then just do your normal stops and see where he shakes out.
Yeah, look, it's an interesting one, Steve. I mean, your thoughts. Do you leave yourself open then at the back end of the race because you're on the older tyres as opposed to everyone else?
Well, you know, we've seen that there's not a lot of passing going on here on this track as well. So if you're buried back in the traffic and you're right up there in the points, you can't afford to stay down there as well. So take the early stop, get yourself out of the traffic, run some clean laps on your own. Potentially a better long-term strategy to try and maximise your points haul.
Yeah, I guess it is. I mean, I suppose it almost balances itself out because when you come back out from your early stop on the fresher rubber, you got guys going to be on the older rubber for the same amount of time, basically.
Yeah, so 3.9 seconds the lead now of Danny Donoso. So Clark is closing it down a little bit. He did a 34.3 on the last lap versus a 35.3 for Danny Donoso. So really pushing it at the minute to try and get himself back up there. And he must be kicking himself about that pit stop.
I think you would have to be. If we go a little bit further back here, we've got Brunsdale and Portier still bumper to bumper.
I'll tell you what.
No, sort of gap opening.
I'm impressed with Colin Bruns as well. He was behind these two before the pit stops. He's got himself out in front and is holding that position quite easily as well. Portier is confusing me unless he is trying to go one stop less than everybody else. His pace just isn't what it was in the first race by any stretch of the imagination, and he did say that the one tyre he didn't have any clue on or any data on was the hard tyre. So being on the soft tyre in this race, he should have all the information he needs.
One would think so. One would think so indeed. And I mean, maybe this is why he's where he is. He's going for only a 2-stop as opposed to what we think is going to be the conventional 3-stop.
Yeah, I think so. We'll keep an eye on him for later on as well. And Gavin Cox also had the drive-through, is in 9th position. So if you reference Dan Stevens' position there, he had exactly the same thing, a drive-through and a penalty. He's holding 4th position, 12 seconds off the lead. You've really got I don't understand how he's got there, apart from he's been driving the wheels off to get back up there. But doing a phenomenal job, it must be said.
And just watching him there through the chicanes, you can tell he's really driving the wheels off it, taking a lot of curve through there, sliding it out through there.
So we must be expecting a stop soon from this from the one car. He's ran about, I make it 14 laps on this set of tyres.
He came in on lap 5, Steve.
Okay, so 12 laps. It was out by 2 laps. So let's see if anybody can go longer than the 13 laps. We're going to find out very shortly here. just looking up front as well, Clark is still 4 seconds behind Denoso. They're trading blows on the fastest lap time at the moment, on lap by lap, not the overall fastest lap. Obviously, Brett Clark has that with a 34.3. Just wondering if he's thinking of flipping strategy around as well.
And maybe bringing a short stint in the middle.
Potentially, yeah. So Stevens continues on for another lap. I make that lap 13 now on these tyres.
A little bit waggy coming out of the Champions League.
He just diced with the wall on the outside there, and he won at this time around. A little bit of a lock up in through there as well. So let's get on board in the cockpit as well and see how this car is driving. Looks like he's got plenty of grip from what I can see, Troy, anyway.
It does look... It's hard to tell, Steve. I mean, at times it looks like it wants to wag its tail, and then there's times where it just looks like it's gripped up.
It's looking pretty smooth through here as well. He's got Kinnaman inside as well.
Yeah, you see Kinnaman just up ahead there.
So I'll call this, Troy, but without that drive-through penalty, Stevens would be in the lead.
You'd dare to think so, wouldn't you?
Well, he's only 14 seconds off the lead, and we make about 19 seconds in the pit stop, or a tour of the pit lane.
Yeah, I think it's about that.
So, up front, Brett Clark's running a 35.5 and a 34.9 for Danny Denoso, which is second fastest lap of the race for him. And the second in sequence that he's just ran in the 34s as well. So, and Stevens into the pit, so looks like 13 laps is the limit, Troy.
It does look that way, doesn't it, Steve? If we go a bit further back here, the gaggle of cars between Bruns, Dare and Portier is getting smaller.
Yeah, we've just got Bruns on screen right now, and they're covered by a coat of paint, to be honest, at this point in time. Portier looks like he's going for the move on Dare. Look at this down the inside. No, he backed out of it.
Yeah, he's pulled out of it.
Current DSA driver versus future DSA driver, so let's see what happens here. Oh, Dare's off into the wall. That's unfortunate. So that's Portier up to fifth position.
That pretty much sums up Dare's season, Steve.
It really does. It's just any bad luck that's going to happen, it happens to win, and unfortunately we seem to be able to catch every single one of them, which is apologies for that, Wayne.
Yeah, look, you'd almost clear it stage fright.
Looking up front again, a 35.8 for Brett Clark on the last lap, and 35.8 for Danny Denoso on the last lap. So Clark's obviously woken up to what's going on in front of him. Let's see if he runs another 34. If he's run another 34, I would say he's abandoned any type of out-strategizing the 14 car.
You would think so, because otherwise, why would you be risking it going that quick?
So 20 laps in the books now, so we would be expecting the next stops within the next 6 laps, to be honest, if everybody stays on target for what they were doing previously.
Yeah, they'd have to be. I dare say we're going to see the stops in the next sort of 2 to 3 laps maximum.
Yeah, so Dan Stevens has dropped down to 12th position now. After that pit stop, 59 seconds off the lead. So again, strategy's playing out here, so we'll have to see where he pops out at the end of this.
Runs a little bit sideways out of the first chicane there, which is giving Porter the chance to get right up on his rear bumper. But just in relation to Stevens there, Steve, it's going to be interesting to see where he falls out after the next round of pit stops.
Yeah, and whether he has to actually do another stop at the end, but I don't think so. With that early stop, he'll have covered off all of the fuel requirements. Let's see what Portier can do about that 47 Super Cheap car in front of him now.
I think from here, Steve, there's definitely going to be at least 1, possibly 2 more stops for fuel. because they couldn't go the full distance on 22 laps.
Portier is shaping up for a move down into the hairpin. Bruns goes to block, which is going to compromise his exit speed. Portier takes his normal line through there, so he should be right on the rear wing of that 47 car. No, he actually lost a bit of time through there, Portier as well. I'm just wondering if he's done something with the setup that's just changed the behaviour of that car.
Maybe he changed the camber for the hard tyre just because it's got less slip angle.
And didn't change it back for the softs.
Yeah, I'm thinking that might be the case because you need less camber when you're running the hard because it hasn't got the same kind of grip level as the soft. Whereas with the soft, you can be more aggressive with your camber.
So he's within 0.3 of a second of Colin Bruns at the moment. You can clearly see that on track. There's half a car length between them as well as we get round the back end of this lap. So we'll see if there's any move towards the hairpin. You can see Stewart is just keeping the 47 car nicely in his sights as well. He's just laying back enough as well so that they air off. Ooh, 47 almost loses it there. I was going to say, he's just keeping it so that he's not being affected by the dirty air coming off the back of the 47 as much, and struggling mightily for rear traction through there.
Yeah, that car was shaking its head something severe.
Both of these cars look like they're a little bit unstable at times. And here we go, 3-car lining up 47. Now he's clipped the wall there as well.
I think you'll find this is the back end of the stint, Steve, so the tyres are feeling quite second hand.
Yeah, we're about 3 to 4 laps away from the next stop, so Stewart just needs to get a better exit out of that one. He's not getting any sort of traction.
Yeah, I think those rears are probably seeing better days, Steve.
Up front, Danny Donoso leading lap 22, 4.7 seconds ahead of Brett Clark. They're matching each other pretty much sector for sector, and Portier catches right up. He's got the same issue that Clark had in the last race as well. He's catching him at the wrong part of the track, and it's compromised.
Oh, there's an overlap here.
He's on the overlap, but is he going to be able to hold the outside line in?
Yes, he's got it.
Wow. Clean move
nice driving there from Bruns.
Bruns let him go actually in the end.
Yeah, Bruns could see that he had the overlap and he had the room, so he backed out of it. Smart driving there.
Just looking down at Stevens now, he's lost a second over the last 3 laps to the race leader as well. So obviously he's got to look after these tyres as well. But there's another second gone on that lap as well, a 36.1 versus a 35.4. Well, 7 tenths on that one, so 1.7 seconds over the period of the race so far for this session for Dan Stevens. So interesting to see where he pops out at the end.
It'll be crucial. I mean, it's going to be a case of, has that short stint at the beginning really going to hurt him because he's going to be so opposite end of the strategy.
So just on board the 14 car over the rear wheel arches, we head into turn 1 and 2. Looking pretty stable, this 14 car at the minute.
Yeah, he doesn't seem to be overdriving the rear like he was that first stint. So I don't know. Maybe not having Clark in the rear view has allowed him to settle down a little bit and just drive.
Yeah, he's looking pretty handy there at the moment. That last lap of 35.9 for Donoso, 35.3 for Clark. So it seems like they're almost on opposite laps as to who does the fastest. So Donoso will go fastest one lap, Clark will be a few tenths off. Clark will then get the few tenths back on the next lap, and Donoso will be a few tenths back, and then they'll swap around for the next lap. So Clark isn't making any head road at all.
No, there's definitely the seesaw effect.
Yeah, definitely. It's not been the race we've expected from 69 at the moment.
No, it's definitely not the dominance that we're used to seeing, is it, Steve?
So I reckon we're within 3 laps of Brett Clark's stop, and Donoso will probably be a lap later if they follow what they did in the first stint. So We'll see if Clark's going to just get the 13 laps out of it this time, or if he's actually been conserving a little bit, which would be nice, but I'm not quite sure. In fact, Denosa's put a 35.2 in the books on that lap versus 35.8 for Clark. We're now at the 5-second gap or thereabouts, so it's starting to look a little bit disjointed, to say the least, between these two.
Yeah, it's a very dominant display here from Denoso. I mean, you'd almost say that Brett seems to have lost, made a change to the car as well, or something of that nature, because it's not like him to let a gap stabilise itself for such a long period of time.
And we've just seen it lighten up the rears on the exit there as well, so we'll have to see what's actually going on with this car at the end of the race, but it's not looking like a race-winning drive at the moment.
It's definitely not. Maybe if we can get our Greg Murphy down there and just have a look at those tyre depth gauges at the next stop and just see what condition those tyres are coming off that car.
So Denoso...
I do believe he likes some fish and chips, Steve.
Lap 24, Danny Denoso with a 5.1 second lead over Brett Clark at the moment. So second race now, first round for Danny with Racing Leagues. And he's definitely putting on a masterclass at the moment.
It's reminded almost of Kai Turner when he made his stunning debut at Hidden Valley and took the shock pole in the top 10.
Absolutely. So let's see how we get on here. 5.3 seconds the gap now. So a 35.5 for Danny Denoso, 36.1 for Clark. We'll have to see if he's actually saving something for the end.
Well, speaking of which, Steve, that's the call from the bleachers here in the comment section. McIntosh is clearly said that exact thing. Clark is saving for the end.
Well, we will see. Just got Dan Stevens on screen now in 10th position. He's lost a further 3 seconds over this stint to the race leader at the moment. So, not quite sure what strategy Dan's running at the moment, but let's see where he pops out in a bit. Fourth position, second in the championship, Stuart Poitier, race 1 winner in 4th position, now 40 seconds off the lead, and not quite in the same pace by any stretch of imagination. In fact, that lap was a 39.4 for Stuart on that one, Troy, so a little bit of an issue somewhere on that lap, and in fact he was off track. So let's get the replay. Coming into the final chicane, it looks like, Troy. He must have overcooked it on the way in.
Hard to say there, Steve.
Yep.
It's
Yep. Oh, Matt, he's hit that wall of champions hard. He hit it head on.
They don't call it the Wall of Champions for no reason. It's he's claimed a few victims.
We've had Kinnamendorf as well, so we just got that one on screen to see what's happening. We've had Kinnamendorf again, according to my event viewer. So yeah, Dave's just cut the whole of the inside of a corner there, but he backed out of it. And then let's look at this one as well. Kinnaman struggled for tyres.
Now I'm getting a chance to look at these replays here, Steve. The Portier incident could have been a case of light fuel load and brake balance not readjusted to compensate.
Yeah, Kinnaman cut the inside of that one as well. We've got Juice off track as well somewhere along the line.
These tyres have seen their day, Steve.
Yeah, the one driver that doesn't look affected is out in front in the 14 car, 35.4 in the last lap, 35.7 for Brett Clark. We're on lap 26, we're on that magic lap, Troy. Let's see if anybody's going to take the opportunity to pit.
So I've got Denoso. You got Clark?
I've got Denoso at the minute. I'll get Clark on screen now. So Denoso's heading off the distance up that straight, 5.8 seconds in the lead. Clark heading up. So Clark was the first out of these two to pit on the last time. So we're going to find out whether he's actually saving anything shortly.
And Denoso continues.
Clark's in. He wasn't saving.
He's pushing.
Get that, Troy. Let's see what Denoso does in the next lap if he pits.
he'd have to pit now, wouldn't you? Isn't it the idea is...
You would do when you're out in
Well,
front.
yeah, of
cover
course,
him
you'd
off.
have to.
Yeah. Kinnaman is in the pits as well. So Clark and Kinnaman together. Clark had a decent lead over Kinnaman when he went in, so let's see how we get on with this. So here comes Donoso, he's round the back half of the circuit. Stuart Poitier has popped himself up into second position. He didn't take the opportunity to pit either, so Stuart is doing the longer strategy that we suspected to try and get himself back up there. Clark is back out of the pits now. And up and running. Dan Stevens has actually lost a mountain of time to Clark on that one. He's 26 seconds back now. So it hasn't been the best of stints for Dan.
Stevens in 6th now. He's actually got Dixon in front of him in 5th.
So we've got Donoso. Surely he's going to pit on this lap. Looks like it. Yes, he is. Good cover there. Good driving there. Cover off the second position as soon as possible. Last thing he wants to do is be out there on older tyres with Clark on fresher boots. Oh, 51 car just moves out in front of Donoso as he comes in, so cleared that nicely. So let's see what Poitier does on this next lap. Down the final back straight, Stuart Poitier comes. Donoso still in the pits, so I would imagine Poitier will probably get to the lead. Nope, straight in the pits as well. It looks like the tyres are really limiting them on strategy options here, Troy. Clark down
Interesting time, Steve.
Start-finish straight. Donoso into the next section. Clark's got that down to under 5 seconds. He's made a second up on those pit stops. 4.3.
Maybe the SRT boys have pulled their finger out, Steve, and actually learned how to do a pit stop.
Well, you never know. So 20 laps remaining. We figured that they can only do 13 to 14 laps maximum. So that's at least one more stop. Well, one more stop to get them home. I don't think anybody's going to be able to go without that stop, are they?
From here, it's 20 laps, so that's basically a 13 and a 7.
Yeah, that's a long way to go with those tyres.
Considering that, well, we don't know. We didn't think to ask what condition the tyres were in at the halfway point. Could they have gone full distance on the tyres, or was it just fuel that limited them?
Interesting point from you there, Troy. When they pitted, they pitted about lap 13 or 14 in the first race as well, didn't they? Which would suggest that's a fuel number.
I'm thinking it's fuel numbers, but also knowing the tyre deg, the way this tyre drops off the cliff, you'd almost think it's tyre deg as well.
Yeah, well, let's see. Clark's last few laps on that stint were really far off his best. They were 2 seconds slower as well, so I'd imagine tyre deg definitely played a part in that. So looks like he's going for it though in this section. He's got the foot down. It's down to 3.6 seconds now, so a 34.581, which is only 2/10 off his outright fastest lap at this point. So he's obviously just going to push now.
He's got it. He really, really has to. I mean, he's tyres 3 laps.
Got to have a crack at it, doesn't he?
Well, he's got to have a crack at the title at some time, doesn't he?
Although having said that, 28.1 through Sector 1 for Donoso on this lap, 28.4 for Clark on Sector 1 through this one, so he's starting to lose time again already.
It's about a lap difference in age, I think it was, with the tyres. So whereas Clark's are 3 laps old now, Donoso's are probably 2 laps old. So you've got to ask yourself the question, how quick are they dropping off? Has Brett been using his tyres hard early, or what?
Well, Donoso's just tripped Sector 2 on a 28.8 to 28.9 for Clark on this one, so let's see what Sector 3 times out. It's out to 4.8 seconds the gap now, so looks like Denosa's got this one covered.
He looks comfortable, Steve. I've got to ask the question to our viewers out there. If Kai Turner's still around, are you seeing this bloke? Are you seeing what you're up against when you make a comeback?
Yeah, it doesn't make nice reading for anybody, that, and well done to him.
No.
34.738 on that lap, a 35.147 for Clark. It looks like you get one lap in the 34s, and that's your lot.
Look, if you can do a 34 with those tyres in that state, it's good work to you, because they're not going to last.
Not a chance. I was going to say, Michael's there saying we haven't seen him yet, so potentially another champion in waiting out there. Just needs to get on
He's
track.
a Tasmanian, I'm not worried.
Okay. So, apologies to Danny Donoso, because I'm sure I'm pronouncing your surname wrong, but I've no doubt that we will be talking to him after the race, so we can clear that one up for us then.
Most definitely, but as I say, Steve, he's a Tasmanian, I'm not too worried. Unless we put his cousin in the car in front of him, then there's something to worry about.
Okay, so 18 laps remaining. Danny Donoso with a 3.9 second lead over Brett Clark. So Clark's obviously made up a bit of time somewhere on this lap. I would have thought he had it down a little bit there. I think Michaels says, don't worry, the Tassies can drive. I'm sure there was one Marcus Ambrose. Does anybody remember him?
Who?
Wasn't he from Tasmania? I'm pretty sure he was.
Yeah, have you seen the guy? He came back and couldn't drive to save his ass.
I think he'd done enough before that.
Yeah, back then he had Stone Brothers. He had the team behind him, because even when he went out to NASCAR, he was so mediocre. He was so middle pack. It wasn't funny.
Yeah, but put him on the road course and look what he did. I'll never
no,
forget that one at Watkins Glen where he was up against Keselowski as well. That was some awesome racing.
Yeah, but still, he thought he was the Duck's guts. Came back to Supercars and got his ass handed to him.
Fair enough. So
bloody Ford drivers.
Just looking at that last lap, Clark was a 35.1 versus a 35.3 for Donoso. I think Donoso's just driving this home, isn't he?
You'd be forgiven for thinking that, because why wouldn't you be when you can just manage the gap that you've got right now?
Yeah, just looking, Dan Stevens has popped himself into 4th position now at 24.7 seconds. So we're expecting Dan to pit again soonish, aren't we? And then run to the end on that. So how many laps have we got remaining? We've got 15.
I would dare say that in the next 4 laps, Stevens will be in.
So we've got 17 laps remaining. Is it 16 laps now? So yeah, we'd expect Stevens to run at least another 3 to 4 laps to get himself in the 13-lap window and then run it home from there. So he's going to be in the top 5 at the end of this, at the very least.
You would think so.
And I tell you what, that's a phenomenal drive with the drive-through penalty. I mean, look at the reference point. Gavin Cox down in 9th position with the drive-through. You know, Stevens is 25 seconds clear of Cox. 30 seconds clear of Cox. So he's done a bloody awesome job. I tell you what, I know what's happened in there is Dan's got in a real piss with himself for what happened and has just driven the wheels off it to make up for it. So more power to him.
But I mean,
wow.
Now, I was going to say earlier, Steve, sorry.
Last lap, Clark dipped into the 34s. We didn't think that was possible in the middle of a stint, did we?
No, we said the tyres had 134 in them. So let's see if we can back it up.
Yeah, he did a 34 on his second lap with the fresh tyres, and he's quite a few laps into this stint, and he's just thrown down a 34 again. So, and this one looks like it's going to be a quick one as well. He's 4 tenths up in Sector 1, he's 2 tenths up in Sector 2. He's definitely putting a push on.
Interesting to see, Steve. And Would it be too late? Oh, he's got to be careful there, Steve. Coming through World Champions, he's getting that car high.
I've seen him on a couple of laps there, and he's 2 wheels up in the air. A 34.8.
Yeah, that's what's concerned me too.
So he's 4 tenths faster than Donoso on that lap, although he was 6 tenths slower than his previous lap. So warming the tyres up, cooling them down, warming them up, potential.
Look, we do know soft tyre.
Stevens
Yeah.
in the pit. That's a lap or two too early for me, Troy.
Yeah, 15 laps. That's going to give him a 15-lap stint on those tyres. I don't know if he can do it.
Yeah, that is too early.
But back to my earlier point about Tasmania, Steve. Did we all forget one John Bell?
Yeah, of course.
He's another classic example of wish I could, wish I could, wish I could.
I believe he got a Bathurst in the championship, though.
Yes, he did. But he actually doesn't do too bad in the Muscle Car Masters these days.
No, he wipes the floor with most of them. Clark spinning the rears a little bit there. He was steaming in on Donoso on that lap as well. He had it down to 2.5 seconds at one section of this lap. So Clark's obviously running for all he's worth. I think he's going to take an earlier stop, because he's going to run the hell out of these tyres and then see what he's got left. That's what it looks like to me.
The problem I see with that is he's going to have to conserve for a longer period.
What a view through that final corner. On every lap, he is just using the 2 outside wheels. The 2 inside are 90 degrees up in the air.
He's pushing hard there. I'm getting scared to watch almost.
Yep, he's using everything he's got. I'm probably a bit more.
I think the kitchen sink's sitting in the passenger seat.
Well, Donoso was actually faster on that last lap by 0.082 of a second. So these are the kind of things we're talking about. It's down to 2.8 seconds through this sector as well. Clark is absolutely flying through sector 1, 28.2 versus 28.6 for Donoso on that lap. And now he can clearly see that 14 car in front as well. So really leaving nothing. Look at that, he's hit the wall.
Oh!
But I think he's going to be okay. I think he hit it at a square on angle. He's lost a couple of tenths though because of that. And he's flirting with the grass again where he hit in race 1. So got to be careful. But yeah, he's giving it everything now.
I think you'll find there's some damage on that car, Steve. They've damaged my lap here, and it doesn't take much to bend them. But my only concern is, look, I think we'll see Clark in about what are we at now? That'll be then around about lap 39, lap 40.
Yeah, I'd say he's definitely going to come in. Look at that, he's using every single piece of the road, and then probably a bit more. He needs to be careful with that, but the race is on at the moment. So that was 35.3 for Clark with that hit as well, a 35.7 for Donoso. Clark, he's obviously decided he's got to go now.
It's interesting, Steve, watching the two of them through the chicanes there. Donoso's clean. He's only put the car halfway on each curb, whereas Clark, he's cutting the curb. He really is, and he's really hustling the car through there. So you can see that Donoso is really comfortable in that car. He's got a good rhythm going, and Clark seems to be just sort of grabbing it by the neck and saying, come on, let's go.
So they've matched each other in sector 1, 28.4s for both of them, slightly faster for Donoso by a couple of hundredths. Let's see what we're doing around the back end of the track. Clark was faster through here the last few laps, but had that little bit of a hit on the wall, and he's almost tagged the wall again.
It looks like he has there with the rear.
There's nothing left on those tyres, Troy. He's really shot the load with those, and he's a 10th down after that.
Donoso with a moment out of the hairpin.
Oh yeah, quite a moment as well. He's taken 4 tenths off him through that bit. Clark has.
Now, the interesting thing here is, will Clark be able to make it to lap 39, lap 40 with those tyres?
I don't think he's aiming for that. I think he's just going to use as much as he's possibly got, and as soon as they're gone, he's going to dive in.
I think if he dives in anywhere from here out, he's going to be in trouble.
I've got a feeling he's going to drive these till there's nothing left. Then he's going to come out of the pits and drive those tyres till he's got hardly anything left, and then he's going to try and just hold the position. So hopefully Denosu's wise to that as well, because he's going to have to try and do the same. We're within the margin of error for a pit stop now as well, Troy. 2.4. Oh, big crash. Yep. Oh, he kept it running, but he's lost 2 seconds on that one. Yeah, big moment for Clark there. It was going to be a massive crash, but somehow he managed to straighten it up and just hit the wall side on, bounce back out again. So I'd imagine he'll be in the pits on the next lap.
There's nothing left of those tyres.
No, but he actually, the interesting thing is when he started pushing, he actually pushed Denoso into mistakes as well. So the exit of the hairpin, for instance, Danny got it lit up as well. So obviously Danny's had a look at his timing and seen that Clark has dropped right back again. So he's back out to the 3.6 seconds, which is unfortunate for us watching the race because it was starting to size up to yellow flag in sector 3. Yellow flag, sector 3. What was that? Darren Goosey off track, or Trevor Dixon was off track.
Just having a look through the field here, Steve.
Ooh.
40 up to 4.
What just happened? Clark's car there, it just took a dive into the tarmac, nose first.
Still appears to be alright.
Yeah, that was bizarre. That's definitely a second change of pants required. Especially for the team owner.
Yeah. How are they looking, Steve?
Oh, they're gone, mate. They're gone.
I mean, you must be feeling a bit of pressure here with all these newcomers. As soon as they turn up, they show some tremendous pace, and it really puts SRT under the pumps.
It certainly does, but when you're up there, you've got to expect that at some time somebody's going to come for you.
Oh yeah, it's I know that feeling.
We've got some lap traffic ahead of Danny Denoso now on this lap. Juice, and he actually ran off track a little bit there as well. Let's see if he gets passed by the hairpin.
Runs into the pits.
If he gets passed by the hairpin, he'll be okay, but he's not going to get past. However, that is going to give Denoso the draft down the back straight as well, which, oh, he's lit up the rears again.
I think those rears are just about gone. I think now would be a good time to come in. You get 11 laps out of those tyres.
Yeah, both these cars I would expect to see in probably together now. He's getting a nice draft down that back straight from the 97 car. Is he going to come in? No,
he stays out.
What about Clark? Is he coming in?
Clark stays out.
I'd have pitted that 69 car myself. Dan Stevens is making his recovery. He's up to 7th position now, so the 14 is past the 97. Brett Clark's out.
Speaking of recoveries,
we've got Bruns out on fresh tyres in front of the 14. Surely he's going to hold that position.
Speaking of comebacks here, Steve, we've got Stuart Portier up to 4th.
Yeah, expect that's where he's going to land out in. So 47 car is probably getting the blue flags about now, but he's not letting pass yet. Clark needs to be making some... Oh, Denoso lights are up again. That 14 car looks like a bit of a mare to drive at the minute.
Yeah, I think the rears are just about gone.
0.7 seconds back for Clark on that one. 97 car almost takes out the 14 car, whereas 97 rejoining versus 69. 69's coming at speed, that's going to sting. Yeah, the 47 car's
Flashes light.
Fresh tyres there. Clark really needs to make hay while he's stuck behind this 47 car. And
he does.
He's lost a little bit of time there as well.
Yeah, I think I think the rejoin there from 97 put him off a bit.
So 47 going straight on. Is 14 pitting? No. Clark's in. I would have expected one of them at least to pit because you're stuck behind this traffic. So we'll keep an eye on 14. He's still stuck behind the Colin Bruns car, and he's running in the 36.6s on that last lap. So 36.2 for Clark. Clark's going to come out on fresh tyres as well. Blue flag flashing there for Colin Bruns, but it looks like he just cleared the blue sector as well at the same time, so 14's not going to get a chance to get past it. Clark really needs to stand on this when he gets out if he's going to have any opportunity to make a move. So we've got 9 laps remaining.
Yeah, it'll be 9 laps of pure, you'd almost say qualifying pace.
He's off. He's off. Oh, he's lost a bunch of time on that one. We better hope SRT are on the button on the pit stop.
It'll be interesting, Steve. I think he'd have to be coming in this lap, you would think.
He's lost a second to a second and a half on that one. He will come in on the next lap because that's what he's done all the race through. Unless he's going to try and get home on this set of tyres, but I think the fuel is a factor, isn't it?
Yeah, maybe he's only going to need a short stop, so it's almost a second.
So close. He's lost about a second and a half on this lap, easily.
And I think that's going to balance itself out with that less fuel that he's going to put in because he's going that extra lap, Steve.
Yeah, possibly. Bruns is cleared off into distance. You can see that gap now. Let's see
it's about
Danny
a second.
Comes in. No,
he's on one more lap.
Oh, that's a mistake. Could that be the race?
Oh, now I would dare to think that Wayne Dare is managing this car at the moment. Now, I am extremely surprised that he hasn't called for in the box.
So at the minute, Clark is out there running second and a half in Sector 2 faster on the lap. Let's look at Sector 3 for Clark. Still waiting on Sector 3 time to come up. Dave Kinnaman is in the pits from second position. So, and now he's caught up in more traffic as well. That's not going to help.
Now, he seriously has to pit this lap.
Past,
he has to.
Past the Triple 8 car, yeah. 8 laps remaining, you would think he was going to pit.
If you're going to make any kind of dash at the end, it's got to be now.
It's got to be. Clark is making hay on this one as well. But no, 28.4 for Danny Donoso in the first sector, 29.9 for Brett Clark.
Is that traffic affected for Clark?
Clark's not making any time on this lap. What's going on?
He's got an open track, Steve.
Has he got an open track?
There's nothing within QE of him.
He's made a mistake somewhere then. Donoso in, is he? Yes, he's in this lap. Right.
Hallelujah.
Let's watch where Clark is on track. They're going to come out pretty close, but I'm not liking that first sector time from Brett Clark on that last lap. He lost almost a second. You can't afford to be doing that if you're running for the win. So down the back straight now. He's come out of the hairpin. He's fought down, 6th gear pulling down the main straight. You keep an eye on Donoso there.
He's dropped. He's off the jacks. Fuel, running on fuel. Running on fuel, revs are up, and he's out.
Here comes Clark onto the start-finish straight, but down.
No, Donoso should get out in front, and he will quite comfortably.
Yeah, Clark's made a mistake somewhere.
And I think that's shorter field time too, Steve.
Yeah, if anything, he's actually made a lot of time. Donoso has. It's up to 5.8 seconds. I would say that's pretty much the race over.
One would think, because you've got to ask, why was that Sector 1 in such a slow time?
Exactly. And Dan Stevens is on screen now in 5th position. Should be able to pop up into 4th in front of Wayne Dare. And he does as well. So Stevens, obviously he's going to be running out of tyres. See if he can make it to the end of the race. So Donoso with a 5.6 second lead over Brett Clark. Not quite sure there's anything Clark can actually do about that. Actually looks like a bit of lag there as well for Clark. He was further up the track and then he was way back down the track and it cost him a second.
Yeah, that has happened at times for Brett. There's over that massive lag. I mean, we remember that the most of the sporting moment was when him and Turner were involved in the battle and lag affected, and then then piloted back round.
disappeared behind him. Yeah, I think that same thing's just happened. As that was a second in that sector.
I tell you what, Macintosh TV, he's called it. He's called a Clark to win. Now, I don't know if that's possible considering the gap that there is now and how well it's been maintained there by Denoso.
I'd have to check what our old mate there's drinking. I'd love some of that too.
He's Tasmanian. We know that. And they do believe that they still see the Tasmanian tiger. So, yeah, they're obviously delusional down there.
Maybe he's on the white spirits.
Oh, the white spirits, they'll send you the knockers.
I would dearly love him to win, but I seriously don't. Look at that. He's smoking the tires everywhere, but he's not making any impression whatsoever into Denoso.
He's working the car, but he's not closing the gap.
Not a chance. You got to give it to Dan Stevens, though. 4th position. If he can hold on to that, that'll be a phenomenal result.
It's a hell of a drive. It really, really is. To have a pit lane penalty and then come back into P4, especially ahead of like the likes of Stuart Portier, who didn't get a pit lane penalty. Yes, admittedly, he got involved in an incident, but nowhere near as bad as what
Dan suffered,
Stevens had.
And so, as we said, Gavin Cox is the marker of somebody else who had a drive-through penalty, and he's down in 6th at 1 minute 4 seconds, so a good 20 seconds off Dan Stevens. So, well, that one car had pace today.
It had pace, and obviously that strategy paid off with the reverse strategy.
So just get an eye on the one car now and see what kind of condition his tyres are in. I imagine he's going to start suffering very soon. Keeping an eye on his lap times. 36.1 on that last lap, so he's thereabouts.
He's not far off the pace. I mean, he was at 29.5 there through Sector 2.
Well, Stuart Portier behind him in 5th position at 36.1 as well, so he's running the same pace as the cars around him.
And that's an indicator of how well you're going.
So just watch him into the final chicane there. We're on to lap 43 out of 48 now. Danny Denoso with a crushing 5.7 lead over Brett Clark, and they've really gone against everything that I would have called for a race and made it work.
Yeah, he has. And that last sector, 37.8, which brought him home with a 36 again. So, yeah. Dan Stevens he's made that car work. It's looked after its tyres somewhat.
He has as well. And just looking up in 3rd position, been a bit anonymous throughout the race, the 55 car of Dave Kinnaman. Obviously just got himself through and up there and doing a fine job with 22 seconds off the lead. So nobody has an answer for the 14 car on the soft tyres.
No, they don't. They really don't. It's
I'll tell you what, I'll be
surprising.
I'll be completely honest as well. He looked pretty ordinary in race 1 on the hard tyres, and we caught him a few times lighting up the rears and stuff as well. So obviously the hard tyre car not set up for it, but certainly working well on these softs.
I tell you what, even I wasn't convinced on the softs. I thought, watching him drive, he looked very, very slappy, very loose.
I tell you what, Clark just doesn't know when to give up, does he? On the last lap, he's reset the lap record to a 34.1. He took 3/10 off his own lap record.
Wow.
Well, he's got to run out of laps. He's got 4 laps to go. He needs over a 1.3 seconds a lap faster. He needs to be on every single lap to just get in touch with the 14 car.
Yeah, I don't think it's going to happen.
That's unlikely, and he's made a mistake somewhere, I think, as well on this lap. Oh, he's got traffic in front of him.
Yeah, we all know that Brett Clark can get himself through traffic without a problem.
Lights flashing there on the 69 car to alert the 51 that he is coming through, and there he goes as well. He's ran in a bit deep there as well, and the 51 car's almost stacked it on the exit.
That's an incredible lap there, Steve. The last lap round for Brett. It's only 1/10 of being into the 33s.
Absolutely, he's not going to get anywhere near it on this lap because he had that traffic, and obviously mistake. Ooh, geez, he almost throws the rear out completely on the end of that one. Danny Donoso onto lap 45 out of 48 now. Yeah, Clark had a mare of a lap there. 34.8 for Donoso, 35.5 for Clark. So, to be honest, throughout this race, we've watched this. And it looks like you can do one fast lap, and then the tyres are overheated, so you've got to back off again. So you can't get a consistent rhythm. And I think that's probably what's upsetting Clark, because we know that he likes to get into a relentless type of rhythm lap after lap.
Yeah, he loves hitting those numbers.
Absolutely. So here we go. Lap 45 out of 48 in the books. 4.9 second gap between first and second position. Dave Kinnaman doing a fine job in third. Oh,
almost a second faster in the first sector there, Clark than Donoso.
I've seen that. Stevens has pitted.
That's a shame.
It's a real shame. He couldn't make that strategy work. That's unlucky.
Yeah, I think he obviously went that couple 5 laps.
He went.
We could see it was going to be
It was that last stint. He came in too early, about 2 laps too early from my calculations.
Well, I think he came in on lap 5 at the first stint there. I think he needed to come in either lap 8 or lap 9 just to get it home.
Yeah, he's cost himself a couple of laps somewhere in the stint, and that's obviously paid for him. Yeah, say Clark's over a second faster in sector 1 and then suffers through sector 2, and something's happened in sector 3 because he's done a 38.2 versus a 37.6. And get this, Troy, the overall lap time, a 35.759 for Danny Donoso, a 35.783 for Clark. He just can't get any consistency throughout the lap.
No, clearly not.
Look at that, he's locked up the rears again on entry. 2 laps to go.
Pretty much safe to say that it's home and hose there.
Yeah, I think after... Oh, there goes... Oh, she's off big time. Yeah, the tyres on the 69 are done. Yeah.
Could he just overcook this and Kinnaman come and steal the second spot?
Yeah, he's got a 15 second lead over Kinnaman. I think he's just got to get it home now.
Yeah, but we all know that Brett Clark only knows one gear.
Well, he's going to have to find that other gear if he wants to get that home safely.
That is a good question. But we've moved further back. After that stop for Stevens, he's come out just in front of Wayne Dare, but I tell you what, the fact he's got fresh boots is
yeah, that should
no answer.
See him home as well, and he's only 2 seconds behind Gavin Cox in 5th. So, to be fair to Dan, he was in 4th position, so if he can get himself ahead of Gavin, he's only really lost the 1 position. So, 2 laps to go. Let's see what he can do.
I'm going to stick with... I'm going to stick with Dan here and have a look at it. He's driving the tyres of it. It's going to be a qualifying pace.
Although Wayne Dare is staying with him. We checked a couple of laps ago there, and we had Wayne Dare about where he is now as well, so he's not letting it go. I think Dan needs to try and forget about the car behind and get after the car in front. We're on to the last lap. Danny Donoso starts the final lap with a 9.5 second gap over Brett Clark, 27 second gap over Dave Kinnaman in 3rd. Second race, first win, potentially. Stevens is defending here.
He is, isn't he, Steve?
He definitely is.
Maybe that car's just not as strong as he would hope.
Definitely not. So drive of the day, I think, goes to the 14 car. Phenomenal drive, kept himself clean.
I think it does.
Got the times down when he needed to, and broke the challenge of the 69 car.
Yeah, I don't think that you can go past Donoso here for drive of the day. He's like I said, I wrote him off early. I thought he was just going to be one of those sort of back markers that was a bit loose and a bit raggedy, but he's made that car work.
He's lighting up the rears coming out of the hairpin there. He knows he's got it in the bag. Just not got to tag the wall of champions here and he'll be fine.
Little bit of a head wobble.
And
there it is.
There's the win. Danny Donoso takes the checkered flag, takes the win.
Welcome to the club, Danny Donoso.
And Brent Clark across the line, 8.6 seconds down. Kinnaman should be third. He's just coming down the back straight now. And Stuart Portier with a fine recovery drive into fourth position. Somewhat a bit of a consolidation for first and second.
Stephen's gone wide. They're about to make a move into the hairpin.
Yep. Stephen's covering the inside line. Oh, he's lit up the rears. Where's Wayne there? Is he coming down the inside?
Could be on into the world champions.
This isn't over yet, certainly. Dan's
No,
staying to
what a
the
finish.
inside. No, he moves out to the outside. Stuart Portier almost got caught by Gavin Cox at the end there, just looking ahead. Yeah, Wayne there's not going to get a chance to make that move. And there we have it, Portier from Cox, from Stevens from there. So Dan Stevens recovers to 6th. That's a fine recovery drive. Colin Bruns in 8th position. Just coming across now. Juice behind him in 9th position. Ian Hannon, after a really good start from pole position, struggling back down in 10th position, but he did have that incident off track. Darren Goosey as well, who got hit in that incident, down in 11th position. Trevor Dixon in 12th, and Darrell Bennett retired. So, well done. Let's see if we can get our top 3 down. So, here we got... just got the second and third position in the comms boxes at the moment. Do we know if first position's on the chat?
Yeah, he is.
What's his name on it? Rexy or something, is it?
I assume so.
Dan from Steve. Dan.
Hello.
Who's Danny on the chat? Is it
Rexy?
Rexy, okay.
I'm coming to the start-finish line, Steve. I had to ease off to make sure I could make it round for the podium.
So, welcome to the post-race interview, our top 3. Danny Donoso, who's probably going to put me straight on that shortly, with the win from Brett Clark, and Dave Kinnaman in 3rd position. Dave, we'll just come to you first. A fine 3rd position, but quite a bit of a distance off the top 2 there. How was it for you?
Probably the least exciting podium I've ever had because of the distance between me and the guy in 2nd and the guy in 4th. I think I had about 30 seconds either side or something, so pretty lonely race, but very happy to be on the podium.
Yeah, so good points towards the championship and the teams championship as well for 555 Racing.
Yeah, very, very happy, and as I said after the previous race, I'll be interested to see what comes after the contact at the end of the first race, see if we still do the time penalty where there would have been a drive-through. We'll see what happens in the stewards' room.
Yeah, the stewards, we did talk to them earlier, they are looking at that one, so we'll see the outcome of race 1 in the following week or whatever. 2nd position, Brett Clark, 2 second positions. Probably not what you were expecting from the weekend, to be fair. You certainly had a go at getting after Danny, but just didn't seem to be able to put 2 fast laps together. It looked like a fast lap followed by an average lap followed by a fast lap.
Yeah, I think it was more to do with the pit stops, hey? I don't know why, but I would request a pit stop, and I only figured it out later in the race, and it would take 3 laps for them to confirm the pit is ready for me. So the first 2 pit stops, I pitted and lost loads of time. But to be fair, I think Danny had the pace, so congratulations to him.
Absolutely, and coming to our race winner, 2nd race, Danny. How do you pronounce your surname, sorry?
It's Dionisio.
There we go, completely wrong all the way through the race. Well done. Congratulations on the win. Looked like you had everybody covered in this one.
Yeah, I don't know about covered. I thought Brett was coming, but I think my rear wing might have helped me. I think Brett was cutting maximum rear wing or something because down the straight I seemed to be pulling away. But yeah, no mistakes from me, which is a first.
Excellent. Congratulations on the win and well done.
Yes, thank you.
So there we have it, Troy. We have our top 3 there as well, and more mistakes in the pits for SRP from the sounds of it.
I keep telling you, Steve, that case of beer goes a long, long way.
Yeah, I might have to invest in a case of beer there to finish it. So congratulations to our race winners there, and thanks to everybody for watching, and we'll catch you all next time.